Hello, guys, and welcome to Amaz's Constructor Compendium for Rastakhan's Rumble, the new Hearthstone expansion. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then make sure you do tune into my live stream. I'm going to be streaming it as soon as the expansion hits, which is on Tuesday. So watch my stream on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, all the days, okay? No, the stream time is going to be 6 8 a.m. Pacific time, as always. So, let's go ahead and dive in and start with Druid. What is Druid getting? First of all, we have a 0 mana spell, Pounce. Gives your hero +2 attack this turn. Now, it might look really bad, but let's compare it to cards that we already know, right? We have Backstab. Backstab is 0 mana, deal 2 damage to an undamaged minion. This is actually quite insane because it lets you go face. It's a 0 mana +2 attack that also you can attack a minion. The downside is you take some damage, but you can attack damaged minions, whereas Backstab can't. Another thing I always say about 0 mana cards is that they can be abused so easily, okay? Like Garrison Auctioneer is like such a prime example of why 0 mana cards can be so ridiculous. And this also combos with a lot of new cards that are in the set, but I think overall Pulse is definitely going to be a player. Like 0 mana cards are just not really fair, and if you dump enough, if you have like the right cluster of cheap cards and aggro your opponent down, then you can just win the game before they can do the late game stuff. So play this with Savage Roar, you know? So Pounce is a 4-star card. Very, very powerful. Next up, we have a Savage Striker. For 2 mana, you get a 2/3. Battlecry, it deals damage to an enemy minion equal to your hero's attack. So once again, this is combos of the card we saw Pounce just now. At face value, this is very, very hard to use properly. So if you have no other combo cards with this, you hero power on turn 4, and then you play this and deal 1 damage to something, and then your face deals 1 damage. So in a sense, it's like a 4 mana 2/3 that deals 2 damage. Kind of similar to like a Fire Plume Phoenix, which is like an arena card, but we don't see that playing constructed because that rate is just not good enough. So I actually pretty down on Savage Striker. I think this battle card is never gonna work outside of some Pounce shenanigans or whatever. So I don't like this card. I'm just gonna give this 1 star. I don't think it's gonna be a player. Next up is an Ironhide Direhorn. 7 mana 7/7 beast. And it says Overkill. Summon a 5/5 Ironhide run. So this is the first time I saw Overkill. And the mechanic is very simple. If you kill a minion with something with Overkill, and you overkill it, then an effect triggers. So for example, if you kill a 6/6 with this, well, 7 damage is more than 6 health, right? So you overkilled it, and then you get this bonus effect. Whereas in this case, you basically get a 5/5 beast. This card is kind of poopy. Alright? Like 7 mana 7/7 with an upgrade effect, it's kind of like Super War Golem. But then the problem of this is that you require your opponent to have a specific minion in play, and you have to trade, right? You do want an option where you play a 7 mana 7/7 to go face, right? You don't want to trade to get benefit. And also, this doesn't really synergize that well with the beast deck as well, right? If you there's like, Witching Hour that revives a beast, but then if you revive the 5/5 token, then it's kind of like anti-synergy, right? So overall, I think Direhorn is kind of just like an arena card. It's very interesting in arena, and you can hear me talk about it in the arena compendium. But this is constructed is basically unplayable, so this is easy 0 stars, just pure unplayable. Onwards to 1 mana 0/3 Druid minion. It's called Spirit of the Raptor. Each class is getting a spirit. They all have the same. It has stealth for 1 turn, and after a hero attacks and kills a minion, you draw a card. So you need to actually hero power, or you need to cast Pounce or Bite or whatever, and then you need to kill a minion for you to draw a card. Now, why this card is so trashy is because you do need this effect to actually pop once to replace a card, and all you're getting is a 0/3 that you can perhaps draw another card again. Druids are not known to have a problem with card draw because if you're aggro, you don't really care about card draw because you're going to kill your opponent before you draw more cards. And if you're not aggro, then you play some sort of ramp variant, and there's so many better card draws. Nourish is better, Ultimate Lull is better, there's so many more better options they can do. So Spirit of the Raptor is also pretty unplayable. The other spirits are much more playable, but this one is not. So this is an easy 0 stars. Next up, we have Mark of the Loa. For 4 mana, you get to choose 1. It's a spell. Give a minion +2/+4 and taunt. So it's kind of like a weird Blessing of Kings. Or you summon 2 3/2 raptors. So it's kind of like a weird Serenade Chain Gang. You know, how long would this go on? But you get 2/3/2s instead. This is actually the problem with this card is that both sides you wouldn't play as a card. Like you wouldn't play 4 mana, give +2/+4 to a minion, right? And you wouldn't play 4 mana summon 2/3/2s. Although that is actually like kind of reasonable because it's like 4 mana puts 6 power on the board, which is actually pretty strong. So I think if you play this, you'll more likely use the second option more to summon more raptors and just go more face. You know, 4 mana to make 2 of the Bloodfen Raptors, the vanilla card, is actually not too bad, right? It's pretty aggressive. So I think this is alright. I mean, I wouldn't think that this is like super insane, right? If you want dudes, you can just play Landscaping. 3 mana to make 2/2/2s, right? You don't need to like spend extra mana for 1 more attack on each. But of course, the special thing is that you can also play both of them. You can play Landscaping and Mark the Loa, make some token druids, and then go face a Savage Roar. So Mark the Loa, I think it's okay. There's a little added flexibility, so I would give this 2 stars. I think it's kind of okay. Next up, 4 mana druid spell Predatory Instincts. It says draw a beast from your deck and double its health. This is a very combo-esque card, and it tutors for beasts. So right now we know that there's a kind of combo beast deck with like Witcher Grizzly with Witching Hour. You can also play my Snap, not my Snap, but the bigger one, the Hydronox that resummons all your taunt guys. So this being able to tutor beast is pretty good. The fact that it can double health on the beast as well means that you can actually abuse, say, Witcher Grizzly, and it becomes a 24 health before the debuff. You can also use it on Chompy, right? The 8 mana 7/7, make it 7/14. It's pretty big. You can tutor for Hadronox because usually in those type of decks, you kill your own Hadronox with like Naturalize instead, so you don't really care about its health. So I think the tutor effect is playable. It's pretty expensive, but the redundancy matters, right? You're actually getting a specific beast out of your deck into your hand, you can play it. So I think this is actually pretty reasonable. So I will give this 3 stars. I think this is reasonable. Next up, we have Twee Speaker. For 5 mana, you get a 4/4. Battlecry, transform your Treants into 5/5 Ancients. So it only works on your Treants. So stuff like Landscaping, Force of Nature, you know? And of course, I guess you play Dendrologist in this, Treants deck or whatever. The problem with this card, I think, is that you need Treants. So you need, like, a big amount of Treants, and you also need them to survive. Granted, if they survive, this is actually insane, right? This is like a super, the Paladin 3/4 that buffs all your Silverhand recruits. Shit out. It's like a not Spiker Steep, but like Golden, whatever. That card, right? That card is really good. And it only works with Silverhand recruits, right? This only works on your Treants, and it only gives them +3/+3. But +3/+3 is like a pretty... It's pretty Bayfey, you know? So I think Tree Speaker is reasonable. There might be a deck that like has like just overloads of trees, and just goes ahead do the tree and stuff. But I'm a little bit skeptical. So I'll give Tree Speaker like 2 stars. I think it's a very strong card, but I don't think there's enough treants right now. There might be more like in the next expansion or whatever. But for now, I think it's a 2-star card. Next up, we have Stampeding Roar. For 6 mana, you summon a random beast from your hand, and you give it Rush. So you can attack minions immediately. The fact that it doesn't go face is a problem. And the fact that you're actually behind on cards is also a problem. The best case situation, right? You summon Tyrantis from your hand. So 12/12 with the Fairy Dragon ability, right? You actually spent 2 cards to cheat this card out. So in a sense, Stampeding Roar was really just a double innervate, like the old innervate, right? Just gain 4 mana, you can play Tyrantis and you can kill something. I don't think this card is good. This card seems like it's pretty bad, I guess. Another way you can do it is you can Stampede Roar a Hadronox, and then the Hadronox can trade with something. You can also Stampede Roar a Witcher Grizzly. I guess it doesn't get the debuff because you summon it from your hand. You don't actually play it, so the Battlecry effect doesn't work. But God, I don't think this card is good. You're paying 2 cards at the price of 1, and the bonus is Rush. I don't like it. This card is bad. I'm gonna give it 0 stars. I think this is useless. And each class is getting 2 legendaries. The first legendary for Druid is War Druid Loti. It's a 3 mana 1/2. You don't really care if it's a 1/2 because when you play her, she transforms into one of 4 dinosaur forms. And the 4 dinosaur forms are a 1/2 Poisonous Stealth, a 1/4 spell damage +1, so Dalaran Mage, A 4/2 rush, so similar to the Druid card that we already have, the Druid of the Panther thing. And a 3 mana 1/6 taunt, so super Silverback Patriarch, right? This is actually pretty versatile because you can actually choose whatever you want. I can imagine people choosing the 4/2 rush as default for on turn 3 just to deal 4 damage and make a 4/2. It's kind of like a Huffer in a sense, right? Can't go face though. The fact that it has the poisonous stealth is so good, right? It's just a delayed assassinate. The 1 for spell damage works really well in Druid, obviously, because of swipe and wrath and all those things. And the 1/6 taunt is good against aggro. So, I don't know, man. I just feel like that the flexibility of this card makes it so that it's actually just one of the best 3-drops in Druid. Like, how can it not be, right? You can just adapt to your opponent's deck. And not a lot of cards do that, right? Not a lot of cards are like good against Face Hunter, and good against Control Warrior, and good against Miracle, or whatever, right? And this card kind of does everything. So I would give this card 5 stars. This is a very easy 5 stars for me because the part is just like you have to give me a Druid deck that I don't want to put this on actively for this to be bad. And I think every Druid deck I just want to start off with this. So this is an easy 5 stars for me. It's super powerful, super good. Just play it every Druid deck. All right, and then we have Gonk the Raptor, the other Druid legendary. It's a 7 mana 4/9 beast, so really big butt. It's 9 health. It says after a hero attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. So obviously, your face and hero can attack again. I don't like this card because you have to actually get to a point where, first of all, you have to stack a lot of attack and your hero needs to bash on everything. So you take all the damage from all the minions, right? So even that's the best case situation, which is pretty good as a board clear. Also why it's bad is because you rely on your opponent to play a creature heavy deck. So say the meta is like all Zoo, all Shamans, like all Swarm Zoos or whatever, then it might be even good to like not play this card. Because it's a 7 mana 4/9. Like what are you doing with a 7 mana card in your deck if you have to tech against aggro, right? And it doesn't even have taunt. So I think this Gonk the Raptor is just it's just actually unplayable. Like why would you ever want this in your deck, right? There's no combos you can do with this. When you attack the face, it stops. It's not like you attack face repeatedly, right? So I actually give this 0 stars. I think this is just a trash legendary. You don't want to put it. I can't imagine a Druid deck wanting this. It is a beast though, so there's a little bit of beast synergy. But holy jeez, this card is just bad. Onwards to Hunter. What is our fellow SM Orc class getting this time around? Well, let's start with Spring Paw, yeah? It's a 1 mana 1/1 with Rush. And Battlecry, it adds another 1 mana 1/1 with Rush to your hand. So this can trade really well. It's also an early game drop. It gives you a lot of value. I think this card is actually pretty reasonable. One of the better 1-drops. It's just like a Stone Tusk Spore that gives you another Stone Tusk Spore. Obviously, the downside is you can't go face with it. You have to trade with it. But the rate is definitely there. And, you know, if you play enough 1-drops, then who knows? You can actually, maybe the Hunter quest might actually be a thing now. But this is actually a strong card even outside of Hunter decks. I think this is fine. This is a pretty, you know, good card. Pretty solid card. I'll give it 4 stars. 1 mana cards that do something in Hunter, it's usually pretty playable. We see Druid Macaw being playable before in Aggro Hunter. And that card doesn't even give you additional, you know, tempo, right? It just draws your card. So I think this is definitely very playable. Onwards to Headhunter's Hatchet. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2 weapon. And as Battlecry, if you control a beast, it gains +1 durability. Easy 5 stars. And why is that? Because we compared this to a card called Glaivezuka, and we can already see how powerful this is. Glaivezuka used to be the same stat line, but it gives +1 attack to random minion instead. Granted, the 1 attack, you can use it immediately. But say you're playing aggro, and you're playing with beasts. This is 2 mana, deal 6 damage to face. It's a 2 mana fireball, right? And it's not even the fireball. It might even be better than the fireball, because you can trade your opponent's minions, and you can have your own minions live, right? That's actually such a powerful effect. This is like one of the best Hunter weapons. That's like kind of released in forever, right? Like if this is Wild, right? If Wild was a format, then Headhunter's Hatchet would be one of the contenders as well, because it's just so much stats for a 2 mana card. It asks a lot of you, and a 2 mana 2/2 weapon is not even bad. So easy 5 stars here. Very good for Aggro Hunter. Next up we have Baited Arrow. For 5 mana, you deal 3 damage to anything, and if you overkill a minion, so if you deal 2 damage to a minion total, because you have to overkill it, right? You summon a 5/5 Devil Sword. So in a sense, it's kind of like a split card, right? Split card being, you can either use this for 5-mana deal 3 damage, which can go face, or you can use this as like a 5/5 minion that deals 2 damage to a minion, right? Because if you deal 3 damage, you don't get it. It's just the left half, right? This card is quite bad. Because if you're playing 5 mana to deal 3 damage, then can I introduce you to stuff like weapons or kill command or unleash the hounds or something like that? This is not good. This is a pure arena card once again. So this is an easy 0 stars, not playable in constructed. Oh, the only time you get to play this if you're playing the spell hunter. So if you get Rock Delar and then you get random spells, then you're gonna get some beta arrows. So then you're gonna play it. 0 stars means that you're not gonna put it in your deck list. Next up, we have Revenge of the Wild. For 2 mana, summon your beast that died this turn. This can actually be ridiculous. Okay, if you think about it, this could be bonkers. First of all, bonkers cards usually have a quality that says cheap mana crystals, right? Like, if you look at the history of Hearthstone, everything that says, summon a random minion from your deck, or play multiple spells, or Dr. Boom, 7/7 that makes 2 boom bots, right? Like, they're above the curve. You're cheating on the mana system. Revenge of the Wild can cheat the mana system quite easily, right? If you trade with a Huffer, sometimes you have to trade with Huffer, okay? They have taunts, because taunts cheat, okay? If you trade with Huffer and you play this, you already got a 2 mana 4/2 charge. That's already really good. And that's very, very, like, it's a scenario that's pretty likely, right? That's kind of like a low case scenario. What's the best case scenario? You trade away all your beasts, right? Or you play Unleash the Hounds, you trade off their taunts or whatever, and then you play this and you get it again. That's quite damn good. And now you also factor in stuff like Savannah Highmane. What if you trade your Savannah Highmane away, you get 2 hyenas and you play this. You still got the 2 hyenas. And you got the Savannah Highmane, a new one, a fresh one. It's not even damage, it's just summon your beast that died this turn. I think this card is quite good. And then you factor in more Death Rattle stuff, like Carnivorous Cube, Like, it can get kind of degenerate how good this card is. I kind of treat this as like a Feint Death. Feint Death, once again, is one of those cards where you cheat the mana crystals, right? If you do it on multiple minutes, it's really good. So I think Revenge of the Wild is very strong. 4-star card. Very, very good. Next up, we have Blood Scalp Strategist. For 3 mana, you get a 2/4. And it says, if you have a weapon equipped, discover a spell. So the rate is really good, right? 3 mana 2/4 that draws you a card is really, really strong. All it asks of you is to equip a weapon, so the ask is not that hard. However, in constructed, you don't really want to be thoroughly around Hunter. If you want to play control decks, there's other classes you want to pick, right? Like, Druid, Warlock, there's so many more better control decks, like Warrior, for example. And I don't really see like a control Hunter being any kind of good. So, yeah, Hunters are usually more like combo mid-range if they want to play a bit more late game anyways, right? So, I don't really see this happening. I think this is just like, man, I want to give this a good star rating, but I think, just to be realistic, I think this card is going to be forgotten and constructed, right? I don't think this is good. Even though the effect and the stat line, it looks to be really good, it's just not a Hunter card, right? So, I would actually give this 1 star. I think it's definitely playable. How is it not playable? But it's not thematic, right? It doesn't make sense with Hunter decks. Next up, we have Spirit of the Lynx. It's the Spirit Totem for Hunter. It's a 3 mana 0/3 with Stealth for 1 turn, as with all spirits. And it says, whenever you summon a beast, and give it +1/+1. So this works with Unleash the Hounds, because Unleash the Hounds summons creatures, right? So anything that you put onto the board as a summon effect, it works. And it stealths for 1 turn, so if you play it to turn 3, then you can the things you play on turn 4 can be buffed anyways, right? The main problem with this card is that it's a 3 mana 0/3, right? It's so bad by itself. Like, what does it even do? It's not even a beast, right? So you can't combo with a card that we're gonna see later. It just, by itself, it's just so shitty, right? If it gives buffs to 2 guys, you're still playing a 3 mana 0/3 that gives +2/+2. So it's a 3 mana 2/5 in a sense. That's not even that good. So I'm actually pretty down with Spirit of the Lynx. I think this card is kind of trashy. And you'll be better off playing cards that actually summon a creature on the board and can attack. This cannot attack by itself. It's a 0 attack card. So I think this card is just trash. I think it's still playable, but I think this is not going to be good. I'm going to give this 1 star. Not a card you want in your Hunter decks. Alright, next up we have the Beast Within. It's a 1-mana spell. Give a friendly beast +1/+1. It then attacks a random enemy minion by itself. So it just goes, Argh. No, me no go face. Me twait minion. Okay, so let's analyze this. First of all, just remember that you can go face with the beast first, and then use this, and then it gets an extra attack. So kind of like a pseudo Wind Fury effect. And also, if your opponent only has 1 minion, well, then it's just kind of like a weird removal spell, right? Man, this card is just so weird because the fact that sometimes in Hearthstone, you don't want to trade minions, you just want to go face and let your opponent trade, means that this card is less good than like a game in Magic, right? Like in Magic, this card would be OP because, you know, you get to choose the blockers, right? So like every minion is taunt. Because every minion doesn't have taunt in Hearthstone, this might be bad because it actually hurt your own beasts. And this costs a card, right? So I'm pretty down on this. You much rather be playing like a 1-mana 1/1 instead of this, because a 1-mana 1/1 is always a 1/1. This is a 1-mana +1/+1 that only works if you have a minion. And you might actually kill your own beast. Like, say you have a 3/3 and you're playing against like big Druid or whatever, and they have a freaking 3/12 or whatever, or they just have a minion that doesn't have a taunt, right? Like, imagine if Lothar was back in the game as a 5/5, then this is unplayable, right? Like, both sides. So that's, damn, I think this kind of sucks, man. This is just not a card you want to put. I think this is an easy 0 stars for me, right? If you analyze it a little bit more and think of all the possibilities, this is just not a card you want. So, easy 0 stars. Next up, we have Master's Call. Now, this is a card that's exciting. For 3 mana, you get to discover a minion in your deck. So you just look, get a copy of a minion. 3 mana card draw is pretty bad. But if all 3 are beasts, you draw them all. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. Like, hunters are like the king of card draws now. Because you don't even need to play 2 of these. You can just play 1 of these and you play all beasts. That's insane. But this is actually insane. It's 3 mana, draw 3 cards, right? Like, the reload potential is definitely there. It only asks of you to put all beasts, and that's not difficult, right? We odd decks before, we made even decks before, we made singleton decks before. As a hunter, you can make an all beast deck. That's gonna be fine. Obviously, it might be a little awkward if you have Katharina in your deck, because obviously Katharina is insane in beast. But at the same time, if you discover a Katharina for 3 mana, are you really not that sad? This card is really good. I like this card. This card is strong. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. This is very good for mid-range hunter. And mid-range hunter is the thing, this card's going to be the reason why. Next up we have Halazi the Lynx. 5 mana 3/2 beast legendary. It says fill your hand with 1/1 lynxes that have rush. So you basically get all stone tusk boars that don't go face, and you fill your hand with it. It seems like another combo piece for the quest hunter, I guess. And if there's enough pieces for quest hunter, then it might be good, right? We've never seen a quest hunter deck be a thing for a while, and it might be a thing, you know. This also combos of stuff like, you know, the Toxmonger, the 4 mana 2/4 that gives stuff poisonous, so you could make a kind of a weird poisonous deck or whatever. And obviously this combos with the 2 mana summon all your beasts again. So this is kind of cute, but you do need to find the right deck for it. So yeah, the effect is there. But as a 5 mana 3/2, it's kind of small as well. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think I'm pretty like normal with this. I can see this being pretty good, but you know, you have to abuse this effect for sure. Oh my god. And the Death Knight card, no. The hero card for hunters, this expansion, is the only hero card in the whole expansion, yeah? It's Zorjin. For 10 mana, you get 5 armor, as with all hero cards. Battlecry. Cast all spells you've played this game. Targets chosen randomly. Holy shit. I tweeted this before. It's basically Yogg-Saron 2.0, right? It's a little different because it casts all the spells you've played, and it does it no matter what. Because Yogg-Saron, if Yogg-Saron kills himself, the spells stop, right? Zul'jin can never kill himself. Because if Zul'jin kills himself, like for example, if you cast Kill Command on yourself twice, then you're dead. It doesn't matter, right? Because you're dead. It doesn't actually matter. So all the spells pretty much go through. Just think of it that way. Because if you lose, you lose. How good is this card? This card is bonkers. Why? Spellstone is in the format. Animal Companion is in the format. We have stuff like Crushing Walls, and we have Deadly Shot, and we also have secrets. Dude, if you're a spell hunter, wouldn't you want to play this card? Dude, you just cast everything again. Like, that's completely fine. That's super good. Spell hunters, this is 10 mana, cast all your spells. If you have 2 my side, you get 2 animal companions, 4 animal companions, 6 animal companions if you casted 2 of those animal companions before. And then you just swarm the board, and then you go crazy, and you have like 5 secrets. This is actually just ridiculous, okay? I can't see how not ridiculous this card is. And it also changes the hero power into Berserker Throw. Not the best upgrade. It just says hero power deal 2 damage. So instead of dealing 2 damage to the face, you can deal 2 damage to anything you want. I don't know why you want to do that. You still want to deal 2 damage to the face, so it's not really a big upgrade as a Mork. But you play Sojin for the battle cry effect. And this part is just so powerful by itself already. Right? It's just so powerful. Easy 5 stars. Holy monkeys, this card is good. Next up, we have Mage cards. First up, we have a 0 mana card. Guys, 0 mana card warning. Elemental Evocation. For 0 mana, the next elemental you play this turn costs 2 less. Well, I was kind of down on elemental cards before this card was revealed. And when this card was revealed, I was like, okay, well, this is elemental mage is going to be a thing. Right? You're giving freaking Innervate to a class, okay, that's not supposed to have Innervate. This is going to be played in elemental mage. 100%. This is a 5-star card, okay? Don't get me wrong. It just 0 mana gain 2 mana. It's ridiculous. Okay, it only works on elementals, but whatever. If you play elemental deck, it works on everything. It's Innervate. Okay, this is actually Innervate. Aggro deck, aggro mage is going to play this card. You can draw cards easily. Easy 5-star cards. Even though it's a 5-star card, it might not belong in a 5-star deck, right? So we're going to look at all the elementals when the expansion releases and see if we can actually come up with something. But elemental evocation is ridiculous, okay? This is the main reason you will play elemental mage. Because you can cheat out mana. Because this is Innervate. Innervate is busted, okay? Innervate is busted. The other mage archetype that we're going to see in this expansion is actually one that I'm pretty excited for. It's the it's the hero power mage. So let's look at Daring Fire Eater. It's a 1 mana 1/1 with Battlecry. Your next hero power this turn deals 2 more damage. This card is pretty damn good. So you're not gonna play this as a 1-drop because are you high? I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're Trump, you might play this as a 1-drop or something. But the point is, you want to play this at 3 mana so that you can, play this for 1 mana and the hero power for 2, and then you have a 1/1 that deals 3 damage. That's insane. That's a... Let me just clarify. This is a 3 mana 1/1 that deals 3 damage that can target your opponent's face. Okay? So aggro mage might even have this because it's just... It can target face! That's ridiculous! It doesn't even care about taunts, right? It just goes face. It's kind of like a Forgotten Torch, but it gives you additional body instead. This card is easy 5 stars. Super strong. And we didn't even talk about the synergies it has with the spirit yet. Okay, we're gonna see that later, but there's just so many... This card is just good. I'm excited for this card. I'm gonna play the ass out of this card. Next up, we have Arcanosaur. 6 mana 3/3 elemental. It's weird because it's elemental dinosaur. It says, if you played an elemental last turn, deal 3 damage to all other minions. So it's kind of like the scuffed version of Dustbreaker, right? Because it requires you to play elemental last turn. Okay, if this card is good, it's gonna be bad. Why? Because people are gonna see it from a mile away. Alright? Like, dude, if your opponent played elemental turn 5, and I'm playing Zoo, then obviously I'm not gonna just go swarm the board like crazy. I'm gonna be a bit more careful with this, right? And I don't know why this is 6 mana. 6 mana for a 3/3 that does this effect? Like, that's a pretty hard ask when you have like stuff like Dustbreaker, So even though it's a bad Dustbreaker, if we're in a meta where it's a very swarmy and whatnot, and elemental mage is good, I can see this happening. But overall, I don't think this card is good. The reason why this has to cost 6 mana is because of elemental evocation, right? If this costs us something like 2 mana, then you can just play it like insanely, like versatilely. So that's why it has to cost 6 and not 4. So I guess I kind of understand it, but I wouldn't shrug this off. But once again, it's just so expensive. So I would give this like a 2 stars. I think it's a good meta call if you want to put this card in your deck or not. So this is the spirit card I was talking about. It's for 2 mana, you get a stealth for 1 turn 0/3 spirit. But it says, wait for it, your hero power also targets adjacent minions. What the hell? That is insane. So your hero power becomes an AoE. It becomes an arcane explosion. Think about this. Turn 2, you play this as stealth. Your opponent can't kill it. Turn 3, you play the Fire Eater. And then you deal 3 damage to the whole board. Because who has more than 3 minions on turn 3 anyways? This is ridiculous. It also ramps up your hero power. Because there's a legendary that cares about how much damage you dealt with your hero power too, right? So this is really, really good. This is like A+ tier with the spirits, right? Because it just actually makes sense with what you're trying to do. The situation where this is bad is, of course, if your opponent's playing not a minion heavy deck, right? If they're playing Druid or if they're playing Priest or whatever, then this is kind of bad. But even then, I think this is still fine. I think this is a fine risk for the matchups that this is bad in. So I want to give this 4 stars. But this might actually be a 3-star card. No, I'm going to give this a 4-star card. The fact that you can turn your hero power into AoE is just so strong. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Next up, we have Pyromaniac, another hero power buffing card. It's a 3-mana 3/4, so very good stats. And it says whenever hero power kills a minion, draw a card. So, well, combined with the spirit, and you might even draw 3 cards with your hero power. It's a 3-mana 3/4, really good against aggro. So this is more of an aggro card in a sense that, you kind of want to just ping your opponent's guys, get more fuel, and then do it again. There's also a little weird thing here against control, is that you can play this against control as well, right? Because after you play your Daring Fire Eater and deal 3 damage, your Daring Fire Eater doesn't really do anything. So I could see players ping off their own Fire Eaters just to draw a card, to make this like a Cult Master in those matchups. So in a sense, that's kind of versatile, right? So I think this is okay. Pyromaniac is fine. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. The stat line is already really strong, and you slap an extra effect on top of it, and I think it's pretty good. Scorch, we're back to the Elemental Mage right now. It's a 4-mana deal 4 damage to a minion, and it costs only 1 if you played an Elemental last turn. That's Wing Blast for mages, dude. That's actually Wing Blast. Everybody rated Wing Blast insanely in the previous expansion. And it didn't really see a lot of play because Hunter wasn't that good. But if Hunter is good, Wing Blast is good. And similar to this, if Elemental Mage is good, Scorch is good. I just don't see how 1 mana deal 4 damage to a minion is bad, right? And it says if you play the Elemental last turn. So you don't even need to set it up. It's actually even better than Wing Blast. Because Wing Blast requires you to kill a minion. This requires you to play your cards. So I think this is just better. I think this is an easy 5-star card if Elemental Mage is good. So Elemental Mage is getting a lot of support. I still don't know if it's going to get there, though. Next up, new secret for mages. Splitting Image. It says when one of your minions is attacked, summon a copy of it. Summon a copy of it. This is a meme card I can get behind. Okay? Your opponents can't trade your big guy. And what if you play a taunt? What if you play a Lich King of this? That means you get a free Lich King. It's summon it on the field directly, right? This can actually cause a lot of complications for your opponent. Especially if you play a card that they have to deal with. Like, just Lich King. Or, a card that provides value over time, Like, this is pretty good, Aggro Mage will also play this. What about if they play Kirin Tor Mage and then play Spilling Image? You have to trade because they're kidding your face. But if you trade a Kirin Tor, then they get another Kirin Tor. So it's like you didn't really do anything in the first place. This card is actually pretty sweet. So I think the main potential is there. The value potential is there. The aggro potential is there. Overall, good card. I'm going to give this 4 stars. Next up, we have a Blast Wave. For 5 mana, you deal 2 damage to all minions. So it's kind of like a AoE Consecrate or AoE Hellfire in a sense. Overkill. If you overkill any minion, you get to add a random mage spell to your hand. 1 second. If you overkill 2 minions, you add 2 mage spells to your hand. 3, 4, 5. Holy monkeys! This card can be ridiculous in the right matchup. Because it's even better than, say, Arcane Intellect, right? You clear the board, you might clear your board, and then you just draw a million cards. What about you add this with spell damage, right? This is a build-around card. And it's a very good one at that. Man, imagine if you're playing, against, any token makers, right? Imagine against playing Paladin. Holy jeez, this has to be one of the best cards in your deck, right? This is just... Man, this is insane! Play against all Paladin. Oh my god, you draw all the cards. No, I think Blast Wave is actually pretty good. It's a high value card. So, There's a lot of potential for this card to be good. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Just because it's 5 mana, it's pretty expensive. But it does have a lot of potential in the right setup, you know? Alright, the legendary for Mage is a Janalai, the Dragonhawk. It's a 7 4/4 beast. Okay, that sucks. What does it do? Battle Cry. If your hero power dealt 8 damage this game, so 8 or more damage, summon Ragnaros the Fire Lord. Oh baby, Ragnaros is back, dude. This is a very, very easy ask. Dealing 8 damage this game would have been pretty hard with the new cards, but Fire Eater, the 1 mana 1/1, already deals 3 of them, right? If you do a double Fire Eater, and then that's 6 already, and if you ever have like a Spirit of the Dragonheart, that's like easy 8. You know, weirdly enough, this card might actually be better than Rag, because first of all, it's 7 mana, so you can play it on turn 7, or you can play it with a Secret, for example, which is insane. And then guess what? You get a 4/4 on top of the Ragnaros. You don't only get Ragnaros, you get this 4/4 as well. This is such a random 4/4. This card is ridiculous. Easy 5 stars. So good. It's kind of like a quest mage, right? Like think of like as like instead of the quest mage that gives you Time Warp, this is a quest mage that gives you Ragnaros. And a 4/4. And you can use your hero power to deal stuff. Next up, the other mage legend is called Hexlord Malaclass. For 8 mana, you get a 5/5. And a Battle Cry. Add a copy of your opening hand to your hand. So 8 mana 5/5, draw a lot of cards is basically what this card says. Weirdly enough, going second is a little better for this card because you get to draw 4 cards. This is kind of weird. And if this is your opening hand, then you can just kind of hear Ben Brode's laughter in the distance. Because it's the same as drawing patches in your opening hand. Right? It's just not something you want in your opening hand. So, I don't know. The fact that you can play a super control mage and you can play this and draw more cards is really good. The fact that you can double up or triple up on cards is really good. For example, if you play Hearthstone Malaclass, you could actually end up with 4 fireballs, right? You start with 2 fireballs in your hand, draw 2 more fireballs. It's really hard for your opponent to play around duplicate cards in a sense. So, yeah, I think Hearthstone Malaclass is fine. I'll give this 3 stars. It's reasonable. It's playable. Right, onwards to Paladin. What is Paladin having? Paladin has a little bit of some interesting mechanics. It's kind of more like you know, a self attack and then heal yourself kind of thing. It's kind of like a weird BDSM theme. So let's go ahead and look at Bloodclaw. It's a 1 mana 2/2 weapon. 1 mana 2/2 weapon for Paladin. That's a really good rate. What does it have? Battle Cry. Deal 5 damage to your hero. So you basically self-smoke yourself for 5 damage. Think of this as like a Flame Imp, where you're playing an above the curve weapon, but you're paying a little bit of blood price for it. 1 mana 2/2 weapon is really good. That's like Cursed Blade. And Cursed Blade can actually kill you. This doesn't really kill you that hard. It deals 5 damage to you, it's kind of a lot. But this is 1 mana deal 4 damage to face, alright? And it does so in a way that you can also trade with 2 health minions, which is really strong. So I think Bloodclaw is fine. And you could also play this in a self-heal Paladin deck. So it's not just for aggro Paladin. So I think this is fine. I think this is like a reasonable point. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. It's it can get there if Zoo becomes a thing, for example. Flash of Lights. Oh, it's just like a beam of awesomeness going piercing through your body, dude. For 2 mana, you get to restore 4 health and draw a card. You can draw a card. That's always pretty good. So obviously, this is not bad against stuff like, you know, aggro. You get to just cycle through your deck. This is also secretly good with Lionessa, because you can actually use this on a minion, draw a card, and then Lionessa comes around and draws you more cards. Kind of like a Potion of Heroism in a sense, right? I think this card is reasonable. It's not like as insane as Potion of Heroism, because Potion of Heroism gives Divine Shield, which is like much better. But, you know, this has some applications. You know, I think that you can shrug this off. I'm going to give this 2 stars. Timeout is a 3 mana spell. Your hero is immune until your next turn. So basically 3 mana, you proc an Ice Block. That's kind of interesting. Because if any deck wants to play immune effects, it's combo decks. Guess what's a good combo deck in Paladin? OTK Paladin! We have 2 OTK Paladin right now. We have the Galvadon quest one that puts Galvadon on the board and you just wave through them out. The second version of OTK is where you play the Death Knight card, right? The Paladin DK. It's just kind of like get a lot of coins with Burglary Bully, or you know, bounce them back with like a freaking panda, and then you play all of them at once or something like that. So timeout will help that. It'll help you buy time to get the OTK combo. So timeout is fine. I think it's definitely the OTK card of the choice. I don't know why it's common, because that's just weird. Why would you ever want to play this outside of that? So yeah, 3-star card. Next up we have Spirit of the Tiger. It's the spirit for the Paladin. 4 mana 0/3 stealth for 1 turn, and it says after you cast a spell, summon a tiger with stats equal to its cost. So you play Blessing of Kings, then you get a free 4/4. You play Spike Steed, you get a free 6/6. This card is bonkers. Why is this card bonkers? Because it's a recursive threat. The other spirits are not really recursive in a sense, right? For example, the Druid one is like the definition of non-recursive. Each time your hero attacks and kills a minion, you draw a card. Your hero cannot attack more than once every turn, okay? So at most you can proc that once a turn. Spirit of the Tiger, though, you can proc this multiple times a turn, right? You can cast spell to spell, you can cast 2 spells, you can cast this on turn 10 and then cast 2 spells. You have, you have 2 Spirit of the Tigers, and then you cast a freaking Spike Steed. You get 2 6/6s? This is ridiculous. This is actually bonkers. I love Spirit of the Tiger. And I think Spell Slinging Paladin, coupled with like, say the Quest one, or Lynessa or whatever, this is gonna be a player. I love this card. 4-star card. Pretty strong, even though it has a very low stat line. The effect is very, very powerful. You just need to proc this once, and then you basically got the effect. And they have to kill this too. Very annoying for your opponent to deal with. Zandalali Templar is a 4 mana 4/4 with Battlecry. If you restore 10 health this game, gain +4/+4 and taunt. So it's a 4 mana 8/8 taunt if you restore 10 health this game. I think this card, while Mimi, because it's a 4 mana 8/8 with taunt, is trashy. The main reason is because restoring 10 health is it's a very hard ask. It's like once again, it's like a quest, right? It's like a mini quest that you do in the game. But restoring health requires health to be restored in the first place, right? There are some matchups where this is just like, what are you doing with your life, you know? Like against like a control deck of like a control warrior, control priest or whatever, then this is just bad. Yeah. And the fact that you have to run healing cards makes this also kind of bad. Like I just don't see this. 10 health is a lot to ask. You have to run Farseer, you have to run Flash of Lights. You like I just don't see this happening. I'm gonna give this I want to give this 0 stars. I really do. But the fact that it gives taunt is a little... It does give a little bit of more of a bonus. I'm going to give this 1 star. I think this is pretty bad, man. Next up, we have a Falaki Battle Axe. It's a 5 mana 3/3 weapon that has Overkill. It gives a minion in your hand +2/+2 if you overkill it. So it's basically deal 3 damage to a minion, or deal 2 damage to a minion, and then buff a minion in your hand by +2/+2. I don't see how this is going to be good in Constructed. You know... The card Assassin's Blade is not played, and that is a 5 mana 3/4. If the stat line was good, then I think it's playable. So like if this was a 4 attack weapon, it would be much more playable, right? It's a 3 attack weapon. That is so difficult to abuse properly. I don't like this. This is pretty bad. I don't think I would play this in any of my Paladin decks. This is actually just a 0-star weapon. I don't like this. So hard to use this properly. And even if you buff a minion, you have +2/+2, so bloody what? It's not even that big a bonus, you know? So I'm not a fan. Next up, we have Immortal Prelate. 2 mana 1/3 with Death Rattle. Shuffle this into your deck, and it keeps any enchantments. Now this card is kind of interesting, okay? So obviously, the first thing you need to remember is that if you have this card, you can pretty much never fatigue, in a sense, right? Because this keeps on dying, keep on drawing and stuff like that. It seems pretty good. Secondly, if you put a Spiker Steed on it, it becomes a 3/9 that dies into 2/6. And then for the rest of the game, if you draw this, it's a 2 mana 3/9 that dies into 2/6. This can be really ridiculous, right? The fact that if you have a lot of card draw, or you have a lot of inevitability, so you're playing Control Paladin and whatnot, this can actually get you there. I think Immortal Prelate is actually pretty strong. It's a 2 mana 1/3. It's not even a 2 mana 1/2, you know? 2 mana 1/2 is like way worse. 2 mana 1/3 is actually like, you know, pretty beefy. So I think this is fine. And imagine if you play this on turn 3, and then it's your opponent's turn. Do they actually Frostbolt this, or do they leave it alive? Like, what happens if you put Best of Kings on it? It becomes so annoying, right? So, yeah, I think this card overall has a nice little quest going on here. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think this is reasonable. Next up, we have a new Talenter. For 7 mana, you discover a 6-cost minion. Then you summon it with Taunt and Divine Shield. This card is a very value card. Like, it just makes a very big minion. But it makes a random minion. And the problem with that is, in Constructed, you don't want randomness. You want as much consistency, and you want as much of a linear game plan as possible. This is not going to do that for you in Constructed. So I would leave this for Arena. This is kind of like a little bit of a meme in Constructed. So I would give this 0 stars in Constructed, actually. I don't think you would ever want to play this in your deck. Even though it does something and it's playable, I think it's 0 stars. Next up, we have High Priest Tikal. For 3 mana, you get a 3/4 legendary. So once again, very good stats. Battlecry. Convert all but one of your hero's health into armor. So you change every point of health into armor. So obviously, you want to combo this to healing cards, and you can restore 10 health. You can target yourself for healing. Jin becomes reasonable, but look, at the end of the day, it's a 3-mana 3/4 that doesn't do anything. Right? If you think about it, just evaluate by the card itself. It's a 3-mana 3/4 that doesn't do anything. So that's a little bit of yuck. So if you put this in your deck, you better be doing some healing strategy or some weird stuff like that. The card itself, I think it's just reasonable. I don't think Healer is gonna get there. I think Healer is actually such a crap archetype, right? Like, Healing Paladin requires you to take damage in the first place. How do you do that? That seems like a very hard ask. So I don't like High Priest Tikal. I think this is pretty bad. I'm gonna give this 1 star. And finally, we have Shivala the Tiger. It's a 25 mana card. 25 mana, 7/5. Divine Shield, Rush, and Lifesteal. So 7/5 Divine Shield, Rush means that it basically kills something the turn it comes out, and it restores some health to you, right? Well, how do you play a freaking 25 mana card? It costs 1 less for each mana you spend on spells this game. So it's not just on cards that you cast on minions. It's just pure spells. So for example, if you cast Spiker Steed, it becomes 19. You pass 2 Spiker Steed to 13, and then so on, yeah? First of all cards that can become 0 mana are always playable. Everybody needs to remember this. Every card that has the condition of play some cards and then this is free is always good, right? Now this is a hard ass though. You have to pay 4 spells for this to be playable, right? 2 Spiker Steed, 2 Kings, and this still costs 5 mana. But if you play a spell Paladin, I don't see this being very hard, right? Play Lynessa, play the Quest, or whatever. I don't think this is a very hard ask, and the effect is actually pretty strong. It's a 5 mana 7/5 that deals 7 damage to a minion basically, and it restores your health. I think this is a pretty solid minion in itself. Obviously, the meme side of this card is you can play this with Holy Wrath, right? You get Holy Wrath, and then you can deal 25 damage to face, but you can only play 1 copy of this because it's a legendary. Oh, this is gonna be so memey. I don't know how exactly you could get it to work, but yeah, this is like the old Bolton Giant with 25 mana, right? Overall though, I think Shivala is fine. I'm gonna give her 3 stars just because she can be free, right? And being free is pretty important. Onwards to Priest cards. What are we having with my favorite class? Well, let's start really strong with Regenerate. It's a 0 mana card. It's a 0 mana spell that restores 3 health. Guys, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but why is this card good? It's 0 mana! 0 mana means you can abuse it so hard, okay? Like, Alkanai Regenerate is already really good, right? It makes it deal 3 damage. 0 mana deal 3 damage is better than Backstab. What if you can go face with Alkanai? What if you have a Malagos on the field? Alkanai, Malagos, 0 mana deal 8 to the face. Holy bonkers. Put some card draw in your deck. Make a combo priest happen. This is insane. This is actually a 5-star card. It doesn't look like a 5-star card, but the potential for this card to make a whole new archetype is definitely there. Easy 5-star card. You can also use it with Lyra and 2 Radiant Elementals. They're basically cycles here, right? It's just cast this, get a new card. Ridiculous. Will definitely see play if Priest is a class. Okay? Priest. Be good. Next up, we have Seance. For 2 mana, you choose a minion, and then you add a copy of it to your hand. Holy Jesus. Remember how I ranted so hard about Convert and how it should be just choose any minion? Well, guess what? They finally did it. This is a better Convert. It doesn't just work on your opponent's minions, it works on your own minions as well. Once again, this is one of those cards that has like a weird combo potential, right? You can actually put it on one of your cards that you summon it from nowhere. For example, you know, you can just immediately play on your Velen at turn 9, and then you have another Velen, and they'll do the Velen, you have another Velen, right? There's the potential for this card is pretty high too. So yeah, it's reasonable. The problem with this is, of course, if you don't have a minion, then you have to rely on your opponent's minions. But even then, you can actually use your opponent's minions against them. Not the best rate. For 2 mana, draw a card is still pretty bad. But once again, we're talking about combo potential here, right? So I'm going to give this 3 stars. I think this is reasonable. Next up, we have Sand Drudge. For 3 mana, you get a 3/3 with, after you cast a spell, summon a 1/1 zombie with taunt. A weird type of auctioneer effect that kind of puts more stuff on the field. It kind of like a weird Vex Crow in a sense, right, too. This is actually pretty good in Arena because it gives you recursive value. I don't really see this being good in Constructed though, because I mean, sure, 1/1 zombies are good with taunt. With taunt are pretty good against some sort of matchups, but I really don't see this happening in Constructed. Like, are you gonna miracle and get like a million 1/1s of zombies and then what? Like, what are you gonna do afterwards? I don't really see this happening. I think this is a 1-star card. Next up, we have the Spirit for the Priest. It's called Spirit of the Dead. For 1 mana, you get a 0/3, and it steals for 1 turn, of course. After a friendly minion dies, shuffle a 1-cost copy of it into your deck. Man, this is like, Priest has moved away from playing fairly to playing like a very combo-esque broken card, right? So you play Spirit of the Dead, and then you get like another cycle of Lyra and Radiant Elemental in your deck. You get another cycle of Velen, Malagos, and Alkanize in your deck, right? So really combo heavy. There is a card that we're going to see later that makes it a little bit better. That makes this card even better. But a 1-cost copy doesn't really matter. Like, don't think of it as a 1-cost copy. Think of it as like, you know, a copy of the card itself. Because if you shuffle a 1-mana Malagos, you don't really care if it's a 4/12, right? Malagos can be a 1-mana 1/1 for all I care. The fact that you shuffle another copy of it means that you can actually just redo your combo again if it fails. Or you can just be a little bit more, you know, you can just dump your Velen or something like that on the field and not worry too much about it. So this Spirit that is pretty good. I think this card is reasonable. I'm going to give it 3 stars. Mass Hysteria for 5 mana. Force each minion to attack another random minion. Now, I looked at the reveal video for this card, and the mechanics of this card is as follows, right? So, a random minion attacks something else, and then another random minion attacks something else, until all minions have attacked. However, if a minion is marked for death, then that minion does not attack. So, for example, if your opponent has 3 3/3s, okay, you can never clear the board. Because one of the 3/3s will hit a 3/3, and then the 3/3 would die, and then there'll be no more targets for the next 3/3 to attack. So it looks really good, but the fact that there's this mechanic that doesn't let dead minions attack and doesn't let you attack dead minions is a problem. So this might not actually be a full board clear. So that's why I hate this card. I think this is actually unplayable because of that mechanic. I think it's 0 stars. It's not a reliable board clear. It's nowhere near good as Psychic Scream. And weirdly enough, Holy Nova might just be better than this, you know? So, not a big fan of this card. You have to abuse this somehow with like, you know, poisonous minions or whatever. And I just don't see this being good. So, this is just, 0 stars. Not playable at all. Next up, we have Grave Horror. 12 mana, 7/8 with Taunt. Okay? Cost 1 less for each spell you've cast this game. Wow. Does someone just say wow? Is this an Arcane Giant that is only available to Priests? And for the cost of 1 attack, you get Taunt? This card is good. Dude, this card is actually bonkers. Think about it this way. What if you just play Spell Slinging Priest? And then you play 2 of these, and then guess what you have? You have Spellstone. Just play Spellstone, get back 2 of these, and then so on. These are spells. These are very reasonable. This card is really good. Once again, fact that it costs 0 mana, always gonna be playable. Easy 5 stars. Super duper good. Man, Priest is getting some awesome cards. Next up, we have Alkani Phantasm. For 2 mana, you get a 3/2. And Battlecry, this turn, your healing effects deal damage instead. 1 second. Let's backtrack a bit. 1 second. Is this the first 2-drop in Priest that's actually ridiculous? I think it is. This is basically a 2 mana Alkani. ridiculous. Okay, the fact that you can actually Alkanai Phantasm, Alkanai Circle is now a turn 2 play. That's really good. And that's just the cherry on it, right? There's so many new stuff you can play with Alkanai Phantasm. There's Regenerate, you know. You can also combo this more with like Malagos or whatever. There's a redundancy, right? You can play 4 Alkanais in the deck now. Obviously, it's a battle cry, so you have to do it that turn. Alkanai kind of lasts forever as long as Alkanai is there, right? This only lasts that turn. But man, is this good. You know, this card is going to be sweet. Very, very powerful card. It's 2 mana 3/2 as well, so you can just play it naked. You can just play a naked Alkanai and it'll be totally fine. Because the rate is definitely there. Easy 5 stars. Super good. Next up, we have Surrender to Madness. 3 mana. Destroy 3 of your mana crystals. And then give all minions in your deck +2/+2. What? Like, what? What? I don't get this card. How does Priest ramp crystals? When you destroy 3 crystals, you're down 3 crystals. Okay? I don't see this happening. These cards are so weird because it's like a Prince Kelasev that instead of giving you a 2/2 minion, it destroys 3 of your mana crystals instead. Like, what is this, right? This is my choice for the worst card in this expansion. This is -1 stars. Like, why are you playing this? If you're playing Zoo Priest, just play a 3 mana 3/3, okay? Just kill your opponent. If you play combo, then just play combo. You don't need to give your minions +2/+2. This is a -1 star, trash epic. You don't want to see this. Disenchant every single copy of this. Blizzard is not going to buff this card. Get this out of my face. Next up, we have the legendaries for Priest. For 7 mana, you get a 7/7 Bwanzamdi, the Dead. Says Battlecry, draw 1 cost minions from your deck until your hand is full. Okay, this is a very memey card. First of all, you can either use this with a Spirit to shuffle 1 cost minions back into your hand, or you can play a deck of a lot of 1 cost stuff, and you can draw a lot of cards. Very memey. But now, if you think about this. It's a 7 mana 7/7 to draw cards. That's pretty reasonable. Alright? But if you're gonna be playing this janky 1 cost thing, you're going to be playing the Spirit, and the Spirit happens to be 1 mana. What other 1 mana cards are there? Well, there's a 1 mana Northshire Cleric, you know, that's playable. And you can also play a couple more 1-drops. There's probably one that's like, you know, reasonable to play. So I think this is like reasonably okay. The fact that it draws cards is reasonable. I think that's okay. I think this is reasonable. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think Brosmandi with the Spirit, with the 1-drop Priest things, is gonna be a little memey, but it does too. Well, actually, you know what? Okay, never mind. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. This is so good. After you killed your minions with spirits, it basically tutors for your Malagos and Velen and stuff. The fact that it can draw a specific card means that it's gonna be very good. This is actually good. Never mind, it's pretty good. I like this. I'll give this 4 stars. It's really expensive tutor, but the body is not bad. Okay, I'll give this 4 stars. I think this is okay. Final legendary for a priest is Princess Talanzi. For 8 mana, you get a 7/5. Okay, so very weird stat line. She does summon all minions from your hand that didn't start in your deck. Lots of potential. This could be good. Okay, so this works if you copy your opponent's cards. This works if you copy your own cards. This works if you shuffle more copies of cards in your hand. This could be really good. The fact that you can just like use what is that card called? Not convert, but seance. You can seance some stuff, and then you can seance some stuff again, and then you can just blow them up on the board with 8 mana, and then you can combo this that way. That could be really good. Obviously there is another even more meme priest deck. You can play double Thought Steal, double Devour Mind, steal all your opponent's minions, and then play Princess Talanji, and then just summon all their minions instead. That could be okay. But no, this card is reasonable. The fact that, once again, it can cheat out mana curves means that it's gonna be reasonable. Like, it's gonna be alright. So I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think this is okay. Onwards to Lalocats. First of all, we have a Serrated Tooth. For 1 mana, you get a 1/3 weapon that gives your minions rush when this weapon is broken. Why is this good? Well, if you play this in Odd Rogue, you just got a kind of like a Light's Justice that your minions have rush now. I mean, is that good though? Like, rogues have such an important weapon, which is their dagger, right? If you play on rogue, you get a 2/2 dagger already, and this is not really that insane if you think about it, right? Like, giving your minions rush is good, but it's not like an extra buff to the card, you know? So the weapon doesn't really have an effect. It's just a 1 mana 1/3. So if aggro rogue becomes good, I guess you might want to play a 1 mana 1/3 weapon. It is still a weapon after all. So I think this could be okay. But I don't think the effect does anything. This effect is kind of... Just pretend the effect is not there. A 1 mana 1/3 weapon for rogue? I think you play that shit. I'll give it 2 stars. I think this is like kind of playable. Next up we have Stolen Steel. For 2 mana, you discover a weapon from another class. That is so troll, dude. So 2 mana, draw a weapon, but the weapon is from like a Paladin or like a Shaman, you know? You could get, by the way, you can discover a weapon from any class because every class has a legendary weapon, remember? You can discover Dragon Soul, you can discover Skull of the Monari, you can discover Twig of the... Oh my god, if you discover Twig, play the Twig of 4 mana, and then next turn, just re-equip a dagger to it, you kill the Twig, you get 10 mana. Oh my god, this could be such a meme, dude. This is such a meme. I can't see this happening in Constructed. I'm gonna give this 0 stars in Constructed. In Arena, this is really good. We're gonna talk about this more in Arena, but this is gonna be really good in Arena. Alright, onwards to Walk the Plank. For 4 mana, you destroy an undamaged minion. Okay, so basically a cheaper Assassinate that basically works all the time anyways, because undamaged minion, there's gonna be undamaged minions, okay? It's not a big deal. I don't like this though. The problem with this is that rogues need tempo. 4 mana is very expensive tempo, right? File Spine is just a 5 mana with the same effect, but it gives you a minion. So I don't like this. I think this is pretty bad. Sap is just more efficient, and Backstab, Eviscerate, like those are more versatile. I don't see this happening actually. Like, as good as this effect is, I don't like it. I'm gonna give it 1 star. This is just bad. There's so many better options when you play Rogue than Walk the Plank. So yeah, just a 1 star card. Bloodsail Howler, 2 mana 1/1 pirate. Okay, so there are a lot of pirate cards in this set for rogues. So rogues is kind of what they're pushing pirate archetype for rogues again. After patches got, of course. So what does this do? 2 mana 1/1 rush pirate. Gain +1/+1 for each other pirate you control. This is ridiculous. This card is bonkers. Why? Because we're gonna see more Pirate Slayer. But a 2 mana 1/1 that can grow bigger based on your board state, you can snowball this out of control really quickly. This being a 2 mana 3/3 is already above the curve, and it has rush, and it just counts your pirates, and it's a pirate itself. No, this is really good. This is like kind of like the linchpin of Pirate Rogue. This is just so powerful. It's insane. So I'm gonna give this an easy 5 stars. Bloodsail Howler, if aggro rogue, aggro like pirate is ever gonna be a thing, this is gonna be one of those cards that you just kind of like auto take, right? It's just so powerful. Yeah, easy 5 star card. Alright, next up we have Raiding Pate. For 3 mana, draw 2 pirates from your deck. So 3 mana, draw 2. Okay, reasonable. Combo, so you played a card before. You draw a weapon as well. So 3 mana, draw 3. There's a lot of classes that get in 3 mana, draw 3s these days, which is kind of weird. This is good in Pirate Tribal. I mean, how can this be bad? There is the pirate that's South Sea Captain, the Pirate Lord, is still in the game. And the fact that you can tune more pirates makes this really, really good. It also draws you a weapon. So you probably want to put in the 2 of the best weapons, something like Shadow Blade, and you get to draw 1 more card. So I think Raiding Pate is reasonable. It is one of those cards that can refill tribal decks, and tribal pirate decks might be a thing. So I'm going to give this 3 stars. I think this is reasonable. Next up, we have the Rogue Spirit. It's called Spirit of the Shark. For 4 mana, you get a 0/3. Stealth for 1 turn, as with everything. Your minions, battle cries, and combos trigger twice. Welcome back, Brand Bronzebeard. This is Spirit of the Brand Bronzebeard. It's a little bit better because it triggers off combos. It's a little bit worse because it's 4 mana. It's a little bit better because, you know, it has stealth, but it's a little bit worse because it's a 0/3. So it's kind of like a different Brand Bronzebeard. The fact that it can trigger combos though, it's kind of interesting for rogues, right? Like, what do you want to trigger off combos with this, you know? Well, there's stuff like SI7, which is kind of a thing. You can also use this with the new rogue, the Pirate Rush card, so you get double buffs and stuff like that. So I think this is like if you think about all those situations, that's like an extra effect. So think about it this way. Would you play a 4 mana 0/3 that has the SI7 effect? Would you play it with like, if it has the pirate effect? Would you play it if it has both the effect? Like, I don't think so. So I think this is bad, you know? I think this is a very combo-esque card. You could actually play with Pogo Rogue, so you can Pogo twice. You know, that's kind of cute, but I don't think you need to Pogo twice anyways. If you play a lot of Pogos, you're kind of fine anyways. So I don't think this is a Pogo card. The best way you could actually use this is with Edwin. So Edwin gets like double buffs, I guess. But overall, I'm not really big on this card. I think this is a 2-star card. The fact that this costs a card is a problem. Next up, we have Cannon Barrage. It is a 6 mana spell that deals 3 damage to a random enemy and repeat for each of your pirates that you have on the battlefield. So a weird arcane missiles or greater arcane missiles, and it counts how many pirates you have. If you think about greater arcane missiles, then you need at least 2 pirates for this to be good. It's a little awkward. The problem with this is that it can hit minions. If this just goes face, that's much better. And it's also very expensive in a sense. So I'm not really big on this card. I don't think this is a good finisher for pirates. I think this is a 1-star card. Not good. Next up we have Gurubashi Hypemon. It's a new Digimon. It's a 7 mana 5/7. Not a pirate. It's just a 7 mana 5/7. Kind of weird. Battlecry. Discover a 1/1 copy of a Battlecry minion. So any Battlecry minion in the game. Look, any neutrals and any rogue ones, right? It has to be in your class. And it costs 1. So it's a 7 mana 5/7 that draws you a 1 mana 1/1 that has a Battlecry. Very weird because it is like what do you want from this? You know, like you can't discover combo minions, which is a problem, right? Some of the best rogue minions are combos, and combos are not Battlecries, and you can get any one. So it's so weird. I guess you can get a baby Deathwing and be kind of like, you know, I am power incarnate, 1/1, kill everything. That's just kind of, I don't like this. This card is kind of bad. I would leave this to Arena. In Arena is pretty good. In Constructed, this is a 0-star card. I don't like this. Next up, we have Growl the Shock. For 5 mana, get a 2/2 beast and Battlecry. Eat a minion in your deck, and gain its stats. And then Death Rattle, add the minion that you ate into your hand. This card seems bonkers. This card actually seems bonkers. It's a 5 mana, I don't know, 5/5, 6/6, 7/7, or whatever, that draws you a card after it dies. That's good, right? That's like super above the curve. It's even better than that because say you're running a combo deck, right? You can actually play this and you can actually get a specific minion out of your deck because it'll eat that minion and then you get to draw it, right? So it can even be better than that. This is an easy 5-star card for me. I think this is just so powerful. It can be big, it can be small, it can be a tutor, and it's just everything in between. This card is really, really powerful. It's, people are saying that it's a 22/22 with the darkness. It's a 5 mana 22/22 with the darkness. And I'm pretty sure someone would try that. Alright, and finally we have the other legendary. It's Captain Hooktusk. For 8 mana, you get a 6/3 pirate. Very expensive pirate. The most expensive pirate to date. It says Battlecry. Summon 3 pirates from your deck. Give them rush. This reminds me significantly of the 9 mana 5/5 that it summons a 1 attack, 2 attack, and 3 attack minion from a deck. What is that called? Oak Heart, right? This is just swarm the board with your pirates, and then just go like, well, I guess I have everything now. I guess I have a board state now. So this is actually a good ender for a pirate deck. I like this card. This is a 4-star card. I love it. Alright, almost to Shaman. No, not Shaman, that's Shaman. That's Shaman to say Shaman, okay? It's Shaman. 1 mana for a totemic smash. Basically, you can smash something for 2 damage, and if you overkill a minion, you summon a basic totem. Yeah, this can go face. Okay? The fact that this can go face is playable. You have 2 of these, and you have 2 lightning bolts, and then you're playing these in a deck of spell damage. This is playable. Okay? This is definitely playable. The fact that this can also nuke some 1 health creatures like Librarian or a Silverhand Recruit, and then you get to summon a basic totem, it's actually not bad. So I think Totemic Smash is fine. I'll give this 3 stars. Wardspringer is asking you why so serious. 1 mana 2/1 with Battlecry. If you play 2 spells this turn, this can deal 2 damage. So think of this as like a spring rocket, but it only works if you played 2 spells this turn. Well, Shaman's gonna go on Slaying because this is a highly aggressive card. Okay, this is like the definition of aggro, right? You want to play some spells, and then this is 1 mana 2/1 deal 2 damage to face. Yeah. So once again, more damage to face is good if you're playing aggro, and this is, I can't see how this is not an aggro card, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this 3 stars. A 1 mana 2/1 is already really good. The fact that you can actually get a bonus is really good. No, wait, you know what? I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I think this card can get there if aggro shaman is a thing. And of course, remember aggro shaman, guys? Tunnel Trog, Totem Golem, Spirit Claws. Remember that? Aggro shaman can always be a thing. Rain of Toads. It's raining toads. Hallelujah. You get 3 2/4 toads with taunt, and it overloads you for 3. So 6 mana now, 3 mana later, and then you get all the OS frogs. And they have taunt. This is good. Why is this good? It's because you're playing above the curve. It's kind of like Feral Spirits. It's kind of like Spreading Plague. You know, those are kind of like the cards you're kind of comparing this to. And man, these toads are thick. Why do they have 4 health anyways? Now, this is going to be good. Especially if you're playing a deck that kind of relies on stabilizing and building a wall and buying time for your combo cards. Rain of Toads is fine. I like it. So I'm going to give this 3 stars. And that's the Toad. And then, of course, we can't have a Toad expansion without Lick'em. Oh yeah, you're gonna lick him, man. 2 mana 1/3 weapon that has +2 attack while you have overloaded mana crystals. Overloaded mana crystals actually count twice. So for example, if you cast a lightning bolt, then you have an overloaded mana crystal. You also have another overloaded mana crystal next turn. So whenever you overload a spell, this is a 3 attack for 2 turns. That is a good card. Okay, this reminds me of the old Spirit Claws, where Spirit Claws requires you to have like a spell damage for it to have 3 attack. This is much easier to proc. Okay, like if you play aggro, just play some overload cards. You know, there's a lot of good overload cards. Lava Burst is a card. Lightning Bolt is a card. You know, and 2 mana 3/3 weapon is actually super above the curve. So Lick'em gets a 4 stars from me. Very, very powerful weapon. And of course, who doesn't want to Lick'em? Next up, we have Bog Slosher. For 3 mana, you get a 3/3 elemental that says, return a friendly minion to your hand and give it +2/+2. So it's a youthful brewmaster that gives a little bit more of a buff and is a little bit more expensive. It's also an elemental, so it's kind of interesting. People are already kind of thinking about this with Shudderwalk. Yeah? Because you can use this with Shudderwalk, and then you can bounce your own Shudderwalk back after it makes more Shudderwalks with Serenade Chain Gang, and then you can have infinite Shudderwalks. Oh god, that's gonna be annoying. But yeah, Boss Slosher is more of a combo-esque card. You wouldn't want to play this in elemental decks because why? Would you want to bounce your own minions as a tempo play? You know, like that's just wrong. So it's a very combo-y card. You know, I would give this. Man, I don't really like this too much. I'm gonna give this 2 stars. The fact that if the bouncing thing is so strong already, why wouldn't people play Youthful Brewmaster in Shudderwalk Shaman, right? So I don't think it's that good, but it's reasonable. I'll give this 2 stars. Spirit of the Croak is a 3 mana 0/3. Says stealth for 1 turn, and whenever you cast a spell, draw a spell from your deck. Ooh, that costs 1 more exactly. So you cast Lightning Bolt, you get like a Rock Biter weapon. And then you cast a Rock Biter weapon, you get a Lava Burst. And then you cast a Lava Burst, you get a Avalanche? You get a Hex. Oh, Hex is that better. Hey, you get a Hex. Yeah. So something like that. Very weird kind of card, for sure. Like, it's definitely a little bit awkward. Obviously, this is a card that you want to play in more of a mid-range or control deck because you want to draw cards. I don't know if this has a lot of combo potential. I think this kind of sucks, dude. Like, drawing a card is really good. Like, an auctioneer effect is really powerful. But this does require you to have a big deck building challenge. I think this is just weird. I don't like him. I don't like Spirit of the Frog. I'm gonna give it 1 star. It's a very hard ass. I don't see this happening. Next up, we have Big Bad Utu. For 2 mana, you give a friendly minion a buff. Death Rattle. Summon a random minion that costs 1 more. So basically, when a minion dies, instead of it dying, you evolve it instead. That's kind of basically what it says. Oh god, I'll talk about this more in Arena, because Arena, I think this is bonkers. But in Constructed, this is a low 2 RNG. I don't think this is going to happen in Constructed. The fact that it requires a minion, and it requires it to die, and it requires the random minion to be good, there's just too much RNG to it. You'd rather just play Unstable Evolution, really. So, nope, this card is not a card. 0 stars. Next up, Haunting Visions. For 3 mana, the next spell you cast this turn costs 3 less. So it's kind of like a preparation. Well, it does cost mana, so what happens? Well, you discover a spell. So, next show is cheaper, you get to discover a spell. It's a weird one. I don't like it. I think this is just... The fact that you're paying 3 mana to get a 3 discount, it's kind of like you're shopping in the Amaz mall, right? Like, you pay me $3, the next item you buy is 3 off, but you pay me $3 already, so does it really matter? This is a weird one. I think this is unplayable. This is a 0 stars for me. Alright, next up we have the legendaries for Shaman. Zentimo is a 3 mana 1/3 legendary minion for Shamans. Whenever you target a minion with a spell, it also targets adjacent ones. This card is good. This card is bonkers. Alright, can I interest you in triple lightning bolt? Triple hex? What about triple unstable evolution? Whoa, that's pretty damn good. I think Zentimo is ridiculous. It's very, very good. I think I'll give this 5 stars. The high roll potential for this card is just ridiculous. And of course, you don't play this on turn 3, right? You play this on turn 10 with something else, right? Triple hex is ridiculous, man. I love this card. This card is great. And then finally, we have Kragwa, the Frog. 6 mana 4/6 beast, and says return all spells you played last turn to your hand as a battle cry. So, every spell you cast the last turn, Kragwa just gives them all back. Insane combo, by the way, with Unstable Evolution. Because if you casted 10 Unstable Evolution last turn, and you play Kragwa, you get 10 Unstable Evolutions. What? Yeah, Kragwa is pretty damn good. The fact that it can copy spells, it draws you cards. And it draws you more than 1 card, right? This card is just insane. Obviously, it requires a setup time, so you have to play a late game deck for this to be good. But man, the stat line is good, man. I like this card. This overall is a really good, strong card. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Like, it's very, very powerful. All right, onwards through Warlock. For 3 mana, you get a 2/6 Reckless Dire Troll with taunt. Okay, 3 mana 2/6 taunt. That's insane. Oh, you have to discard your lowest cost card. So they're pushing discard lock again in this expansion, but this time the discard is actually a little bit better because it says discard your lowest cost card, right? So the discard is no longer RNG. Wait, what? Blizzard is making non-RNG cards? Obviously, if you have 2 cards that cost the lowest, they're tied, then you kind of discard one of them randomly. But, discarding lowest cost cards, we're going to see that it's going to be reasonable. Now, for the card itself, 3 mana 2/6 taunt is actually okay. Disco Lock, I can see them playing this because they want to buy time for the Disco strategy to work. So I think Reckless Star Troll is okay. I'm going to give this 2 stars. I think this is okay. How about a Blood Troll Sapper? Oh my god, look at the spooky lady. 7 mana 5/8, so pretty thick. And it says, after a friendly minion dies, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So, obviously, you want to combo this with things that die immediately on the board. So, rush minions would be good. 1/1 minions would be good. You just want to trade off all your minions and just go face, right? 7 mana card is kind of expensive, so I probably don't see this being played in Zoo. You have to play this in a very weird, token making deck or like Death Rattle deck or whatever, and you want to kill your own minions with it, right? So stuff like you can set up a good Defile turn, you can set up a good stuff like Shadow Flame, or like just I don't know, you just want to kill your own minions somehow for this to be good. Trade a lot or whatever, poisonous minions, or for example. Yeah, this is a combo card, and combo cards like this, which don't really fit in any archetype that's found currently, and I can't really imagine this being played, and it's 7 mana, very expensive ask for this kind of effect. I think it's a very easy 1 star. Next up, we have Demon Bolt. For 8 mana, you destroy a minion. Super expensive assassinate. Oh, wait a second. it costs 1 less for each minion you control. So you have to control at least 3 minions for this to be Assassinate. And Assassinate is not playable, right? So you need to have like a lot of minions. So you have to be playing something like Zoo. Now the question is, do you actually want to play Assassinate in Zoo, even if it costs 3 mana? I don't think so. I think this is actually just not a card you want to see, right? Zoo really wants to play creatures, right? It has to have like power. It has to have like attack. It has to have like a health. This is a 0/0. You don't want this. So I think this is bad. I think Demon Bolt is gonna see 0 play. I'm gonna give this 0 stars. I think this is bad. I always say that cards that can be cheaper will always be playable, but this doesn't make sense. This is a card that doesn't make sense. You don't want this effect if you go the cheap route. I don't want this. It's 0 stars. Grim Rally is a 1 mana spell. Destroy a friendly minion, so you kill your own guy, and give your minions +1/+1. Holy bonkers, is this card good? Okay, this card is really good because Dark Pact is the combo card for control decks, right? Grim Rally is the combo card for aggro decks. Use this on an egg, and then you get, not only you proc your egg, you also give +1/+1 to everything. So it's Mark of the Lotus for Warlocks. That's good. Okay? So be very careful with this card. This card might look really bad on face value, but remember, eggs are in the game. There's another egg that's new to the expansion as well. This is gonna be good. It really pushes Zoo over the edge. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Very powerful. It's a 1 mana card, and it says discard your lowest cost card, so same thing as the taunt minion we saw just now, and deal 2 damage to all minions instead. So it's kind of weird, because it's a discard card that's kind of more control oriented. So you want to play this in like Handlock, for example, and deal 2 damage to all minions, because 1 mana deal 2 to all minions is a very good effect, right? We're gonna see a card that helps you get back your discarded cards later, but you know, I can see this happening. Shriek with if you play 2 Shrieks and you play the Clutch Mother Zavas, that whenever you discard it, you put it back to your hand anyways with +2/+2. Like, that is actually not a bad combo, right? So Shriek either deals 2 damage and just deals 2 damage and discard a card and just put it back to your hand, or you can have Shriek discard the other Shriek, and that way you just played 1 mana, deal 2 damage. And then the other card was kind of like Innervate, right? So I can see Shriek happening for control decks. I think this is okay. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Next up, we have Spirit of the Bat. For 2 mana, get a 0/3 Spirit, so it steals for 1 turn. And it says, after a friendly minion dies, you give a minion in your hand +1/+1. Holy monkeys, is this bad? This is like really bad. It's like a Cult Master that doesn't draw your cards. It gives a buff to your minions instead. Just, how is this good? It's also 2 mana. So how does Prince Keleseth decks play this? I don't like this. The Spirit of the Bad is just Spirit of the Bad. See what I did there? 0 stars. Soul Warden. For 6 mana, you get a 6/6 minion. And Battlecry. Add 3 random cards you discarded this game to your hand. Now this is the discard card that we've been looking for, okay? When you discard cards, you kind of want to, you know, kind of abuse this somehow, right? So you play stuff like Soulfire, you play Shriek, you play the Taunt, and they play Soul Warden? Well, that's okay. Soul Warden can get you back anyways. The weird part about this card that pushes this over the top is that it can double count. What I mean by this is if you discarded 3 cards in the game, right? So you play Soulfire, you play Shriek, you play the new Taunt guy, so you discarded 3 cards, right? What if you're playing 2 Soul Wardens? The first Soul Warden draws you 3 cards. The second Soul Warden also draws you the same 3 cards. That is poggers. So now you actually have 2 6 mana 6/6s that draws you 3 cards. When's the last time we've seen this? Ancient of Lore. Ancient of Lore is a 7 mana 5/5 to draw 2 cards. This is a 6 mana 6/6 to draw 3 cards. That's ridiculous. So I love Soul Warden. Soul Warden seems like it's a very, very strong, powerful card that can actually make Tempo Warlock a really good, you know, a good contender. Because you don't want to put this in a deck that taps a lot. Because if you tap too much, then the 3 added random cards, you don't even have space for it. And you're playing a more value game anyways, right? If you're playing more of a Tempo Warlock, like a mid-range Warlock, playing this on turn 6, making you draw cards, so you don't need to life tap, means you just play them again. So this is more of a mid-range card, and that's the best. So I love this card. This card, I really want to give this 5 stars, but because you still have to play Disco Lock, which is kind of awkward, I'm going to give this 5 stars. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I think this is still really powerful. This card is really, really good. Next up, we have Void Contract. For 8 mana, it's a spell. You Thanos it. You snap your fingers, and half of each player's deck is gone. Dun dun dun! This is not a bad card. Why is this not a bad card? You might ask. Hey Amaz, this is an 8 mana 0/0. That doesn't do anything to the board. Why is this good? Well, this actually just breaks off combo decks. Combo decks really need specific cards to end the game. They need cantrips, so they need card draw. They need board clears, and then they need tutors, like specific cards to find their win conditions as well. So win conditions is also a part of it. If you destroy half their deck, then suddenly they might just lose. They might just actually can't win the game. Okay, so Void Contract is actually pretty interesting. It's a sabotage card. So I think this is playable. Is this a good card? Not really, but it will be playable because combo decks in Hearthstone are the best decks in the Hearthstone. So I would give this 2 stars. It's a meta call. 2 stars is kind of like the rating you give for meta dependent cards. All right, what are the legendaries? We have High Priestess. Click. 4 mana 3/4 taunt and lifesteal. Okay, so pretty defensive there. And whenever you discard this, you get 2 High Priestess Jacklick back. Ooh. So you get to, instead of discarding a card, you get to draw a card. Whoa. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of get it in there. Okay, this is reasonable. I think this is actually pretty good. Once again, this new mid-range Warlock deck, with the 6 mana 6/6, this can be a thing. Yeah, this can actually be a thing. So I think High Priestess Jacklick would be okay here. It's a pretty low stat line. 4 mana 3/4 taunt and lifesteal is pretty bad. So you do need to abuse her somehow, by copying her and getting multiple High Priestesses. So I would give this 3 stars. I think this is okay. And finally, we have Hyalik the Bats. For 8 mana, you get a 1/1. But you get to fill your board with copies of this minion. So if you buff this somehow with like hand buffs or Prince Kelesov or whatever, you get to flood the board with 2/2s, 3/3s even maybe. I don't really like this card. This card seems like it's a very, it's just really awkward. Like, it's a kind of a scuffed Onyxia in a sense, and it requires a lot of build up. And at the same time, like 8 mana make all 3/3s is not even good. Like, I don't even think that's like that insane. So this not for me. This is not for me. I'm giving this 1 star. Alright, final class. We have Hordia. Hordia, the control deck. What are they getting? Well, they're actually getting a little bit more of a dragon archetype. But we're going to start off Devastate first. For 1 mana, deal 4 damage to a damaged minion. Oh, baby. Execute is back. But wait a second. This Execute only deals 4 damage. So it's kind of a scuffed Execute. I don't think I like this. I think you would play Execute instead anyways if you want this kind of effect. If you want to play Face Warrior, you don't want this effect. You just want to go face. Why do you want to deal damage to minions? This is bad. I think this is just bad. 1 star. Unplayable. Dragon Roar. 2 mana, add 2 random dragons to your hand. Now, this is a lot of value. 2 mana, draw 2 is not something you see in Hearthstone. And you're also giving this card to a deck or to a class that doesn't normally draw cards, right? So I think this is actually pretty good in the value standpoint. This is even better because we're going to see a card that interacts with dragons a lot, very, very well. So Dragon Roar for now, I'm going to give this 3 stars. I think this is really good if the mana ever goes very grindy. I will whip them into shape. It's a 3 mana 2/4 weapon. After you play a minion, you deal 1 damage to it. So you're actually smoking your own minions. I don't know why Blizzard keeps on pushing this mechanic. Obviously, they wanted to be good with Blood Rage or Battle Rage and stuff like that. But guys, don't play this card. It's a 3 mana 2/4 weapon. You don't want a 3 mana 2/4 weapon. Play Fire War Axe instead. It's a 3 attack weapon. It's much better. And whipping your own minions, while you can actually activate stuff like Frothing Berserkers or whatever. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. Easy 0 stars card. Not good. 0 stars. Alright, we have a Spirit for the Warrior. It is a 1 mana 0/3. It stealths 1 turn, and your Rush minions are immune the turn they're summoned. So they basically have a Divine Shield in a sense. Think about it that way. But they have to attack. This is kind of like a card disadvantage. It's kind of like a 1 mana 0/3 that heals your Rush, or gives them Divine Shield in a sense. So I don't think this is that good. Because like, the thing is like, Rush minions, while they're good, you don't need to kind of like abuse them even more, right? The main combo with this card is with Dr. Boom, right? The Dr. Boom hero card is still in the game, and Dr. Boom gives all your mechs Rush. So if you have this with Dr. Boom, then all your mechs suddenly have immune the turn they're summoned. So that's kind of interesting. But man, I don't think this card is gonna get there. It requires your opponents to play cards. So yeah, I'm not really big on this card. I'm gonna give this 2 stars. It does cost a card. It does require to play Rush minions, and it does require your opponents to have minions in the first place. So I'm not really big on this. It's a 1 mana 0/3. I'm gonna give this, yeah, what did I give it? 2 stars? Yeah, I'm gonna give this 2 stars. I think this is kind of fringy. Next up, we have Ember Scale Drake. For 5 mana, you get a 5/5 dragon. Says if you're holding a dragon, gain 5 armor. So this is a Shield Maiden. That's a bit cheaper, and you can only play it kind of if you're playing a dragon deck. This is good. Shield Maiden has seen play so much back when we had like Resident Sleeper Warrior, right? Welcome to the Grand Tournament, champion. I can take the hit. Who knows what secrets will uncover? I can take the hit. I can take the hit. Get a billion armor and win the game that way, because it's kind of like, oh, you run your opponent out of resources, right? So no, Ember Scale Drake will see play. It's a very strong dragon. 4-star card. Heavy Metal. Wait, this card sucks. Because for 6 mana, you summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor. Holy jeez, this is bad. So this is kind of like a Yip that doesn't... It's a 0 mana Yip that works 1 turn. Right? Like, what? Like, I don't get this. 6 mana make a 10-drop is pretty good. But like, is it really that good? What if you don't have any armor? What if you play against aggro and they actually keep up beating your face? Nah, this card sucks. 0-star card! Next up, we have Dragon Smolderthorn Lancer. For 3 mana, you get a 3/2 minion with battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, destroy a damaged enemy minion. So you cast Execute. This card is pretty reasonable. 3 mana 3/2 is definitely below the curve. You don't really like this. But the fact that it can cast Execute, that's good. Blood Razor is still in the game right now. So this combos insanely well with Blood Razor, which you're going to play because you're playing dragons. You're going to be playing a mid-range control deck. So you want to, just combo this with Blood Razor. And then you can Execute. And on top of that, you get a minion. This card is very decent. I like it. I'm going to give this 5 stars. This actually gets there. It's a very, very strong card. Soul Thrace is a 6 mana 4/4 weapon. So lots of attack on the damage end. It says Overkill. You may attack again. So the new Fool's Bane, if you may. If you deal 3 damage to a minion, then you can attack again, and so on. You can go face with this. So a little bit better than Fool's Bane. And what's the weird part about this is that it has 4 durability. That's a lot of durability. This is 6 mana, deals 16 to the face, right? It's not bad if you think about it that way. That's a lot of damage for a card, right? I think there's a lot of value in this. And of course, if you're playing the Armor Paladin, if you're playing Armor Warrior as well, you're going to have a lot of health to trade away. So I think Soul Thrace is actually pretty good. I think it's actually a decent upgrade over Arcanite Reaper. I like this card. I'm going to give this 4 stars. Alright, 2 legendaries for Warrior. First off, we have War Master Vuon. For 4 mana, you get a 4/3. Battle cry. Copy all dragons in your hand. Once again, I don't know why the hell warriors can draw cards better than other classes. That's insane. Copy all dragons in your hand. So the best it can do is draw 4 cards, right? Because if it draws 5 cards, you're actually fatiguing yourself. Weird. Well, you can play a dragon afterwards. Oh, never mind. The best it can draw 5 cards. That's a lot of cards to draw. And he's also a 4 mana 4/3. That's pretty decent for a control deck, because you only care about the 4 attack, right? As a control deck, you just kind of want to stall the game out and draw a lot of cards or whatever. And man, it doubles your dragons. This has to be a very strong effect. I like this. This card is really good. Dragon Warrior, if Dragon Warrior actually gets there, then War Master Rune is just like auto include. You know, you just want to craft this as soon as you play Dragon Warrior. This card is good. I like this. I'll give 5 stars. Actually, very powerful. And finally, we have Akali the Rhino. It's a League champion that is 8 mana 5/5. She's a ninja, not a beast. What's happening? She has Rush and Overkill. Draw a Rush minion from your deck if you overkill something and give it +5/+5. So you want to deal 4 damage to a minion with this because overkill, right? So deal 4 damage to a minion and then draw a Rush minion from your deck and give it +5/+5. This is kind of janky. I mean, 8 mana 5/5 Rush is not good at all, right? And you also require your opponent to have a minion, and you need to play Rush minion, and you also need to play the Rush minion from your hand afterwards. That's a lot of ands, you know? I mean, sure, you can buff Ziliax to like a 8/7 Divine Shield Lifesteal Taunt, but then you have to pay Akali. I don't like this card. This card seems pretty bleh. I just, the stat line is just so low. And there's just so many conditions. I don't like this card. I'm gonna give this 1 star. Alright, next up, we're finally we're down to our neutral cards. First up, we'll start with the Gorobashi Chicken! Woohoo! It's a 1 mana 1/1 beast with overkill. Gain +5 attack. So there's no way you can overkill with just 1 attack. You need to buff the attack of this for it to be good. And of course, since it's trading, you need to buff the health as well. And since you're buffing a chicken, you're probably Angry Chicken rank as well. And my best advice to you, if you're Angry Chicken, if you're rank 50 in Hearthstone, don't play this card. 0 stars. Next up, we have Helpless Hatchling. For 1 mana, you get a 1/1 beast with Death Rattle. Reduce the cost of a beast in your hand by 1. Don't let the cute look fool you. This card is actually just trash tier. Okay? Sure, you can think of it as a 1 mana 1/1 innervate for one of your beasts. But like, God, it's a random effect. You're not really playing beast. You play a 1 mana 1/1. Nah, this card is just trash tier, dude. 0 star. Okay? I don't care how cute it is. Okay? I'm not playing him. Next up, Serenite Taskmaster. For 1 mana, you get a 2/3. And when she dies, your opponent gets a 0/3 free agent. So you basically free the slaves. This is a very aggressive card. Holy shit. It's a 1 mana 2/3 with no downside in a sense. Because if your opponent can't kill this, then there is no downside, right? It's like a zombie chow, but an aggressive zombie chow. So I think this card will see play. It's very highly aggressive. And giving your opponent 0/3 isn't even that bad. Because after the agent is free, well, it's okay. Just kill it. Just kill it with a flame imp. I think it's kind of like a, man, I want to give this 4 stars, but I think realistically it's a 3-star card because there's enough of powerful early game drops that you probably don't need to go to this. But it is an option. 3 stars. Next up we have Cheaty Ankle Biker. Cheaty Ankle Biter. For 2 mana you get a 2/1 lifesteal that battle cries, deals 1 damage. Now, cute thing about this card is that the Battle Cry also has lifesteal because this guy is actually doing the damage, right? So it's a strict upgrade over the Murloc Blowfin, right? The Blow Murloc, the Blowfin, whatever it's called. So 2 mana 2/1, you get a life, and then to deal 1 damage, gain a life, and it's also a 2/1 lifesteal. This is pretty good. Like, this is a very strong card, right? It gives you a lot of life. It's a 2-drop. It can snipe off stuff. I think this card is actually pretty good, right? Control decks will play this. The lifesteal is actually pretty decent. I think this is actually a 4-star card. I can see people playing this. Like, even Warlocks play this. Very, very good. Like, aggro has to actually spend a turn to kill this. I like it. 2 mana 0/4 Dozing Marksman. He's sleeping. But if you damage him, he goes crazy because he has 4 attack while damaged. So we're 2 mana 4/4 minion that doesn't really get turned on until he enrages. Oh wait, sorry, enrage is too hard a keyword for new players to understand. Plus 4 attack while damaged, okay? I think this is weird because like you have to buff this up. If you play this and your opponent is at least 20 IQ, they're not gonna attack into this, right? So you need to proc this with your own stuff. And pinging this is not even that good. If you ping your own Dozing Marksman, it's a 4 mana 3/3. Like that's not even, sorry. It's a 4 mana 4/3. And it's not even that good in that case. So you have to kind of abuse this somehow. So stuff like Blood Razor, you know? Stuff like, Blessing of Kings or like, some sort of like that, then it'll kind of work out. But it's a 2-mana 0/4. Man, I don't like this. This card is just kind of trashy. I don't like it. It's 0 stars for me. Oh, baby. Talk about a good 2-drop, though. Scarab Egg is a 2-mana 0/2 with Death Rattle. Summon 3 1/1 Scarabs. 2 mana for something that can summon 3 1/1s? That's insane. What if you combo this with the Warlock card that kills a minion and gives everything +1/+1? That's really good. Man, Egg aggro is gonna be back. You can play this with Warlock, Self-Sacrifice. You can play this Shaman, Flame Tongue Totem. You can play this Druid. Just swarm the board with Savage Roar, and if your opponent board clears, just gets more stuff. This is good, okay? Skig is powerful. We love this card. We're gonna give this 5 stars because eggs are 5 stars. It's like Nerubian Egg. It's like a new Nerubian Egg. Next up, we have Sharkfin Fan, 2-mana 2/2. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 pirate. This is almost exclusively a rogue card because they can actually equip a weapon, right? So it's kind of like a weird, what's it called? This is our town, Scrub. Yeah, beat it. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2 and summons a 2/1, but this summons a 1/1. However, there are 2 things going for this that's really good. First of all, it's recursive. So unlike Scrubs, you can actually proc this multiple times if your opponent doesn't kill it. So that's actually a big bonus. The second bonus, perhaps the best bonus of all, it's a pirate that summons a pirate. Okay? That's insane. That's a lot of pirate synergy for the Rush Pirate that we saw just now. So this card, I think, is going to be ridiculous in Pirates. Okay, I'm going to give this 4 stars. Super strong. Do not sleep on this card. Pirate's gonna get your face in. Next up, we have Spellzerker. It's a 2-mana 2/3 that has spell damage +2 while damaged. Holy jeez. Okay, spell damage +2 on a 2-mana minion is really good. But the fact that you need to activate this is really bad. So I don't see this happening in Constructed. I'm going to give this 0 stars. I think this is purely a arena card. It's kind of cute that way. But I just don't see this happening. Banana Buffoon. For 3 mana, you get a 2/2 Gorilla that adds 2 bananas to your hand as a battle card. And of course, we know that bananas are 1-mana spells that give a minion +1/+1, right? So this is kind of interesting because, well, you actually get 2 spells off of this card, right? You actually draw 2 spells. So I can see some miracle-y things happening. There's some weird things that can definitely happen with this card. You can also use this in Buff Paladin, right? Buff Paladin, you get 2 bananas, easy to buff and whatever. So I wouldn't sleep on Banana Buffoon. I will give this 3 stars. I think it's reasonable. You have to actually abuse it somehow, right? You have to abuse the bananas. Honorary Tortoise is a 3-mana 3/5 beast that says Battlecry, deal 5 damage to your hero. So it's Pit Lord in beast form, right? You're playing a 4-drop a turn earlier, but you're dealing damage to your hero. I don't see this being insane. I mean, isn't the 3-mana 4/3 just better than this? Because if you want to go face, you want a 4 attack instead of 3/5. I don't see this happening. And deal 5 damage to the hero is actually a problem in aggro decks as well. Because if you're playing aggro against aggro, dealing 5 damage to your own face is a problem. So, no, I don't like turtles. 0 stars. Arena Fanatic is a 4-mana 2/3 that gives all your minions in your hand +1/+1. That is such a weird effect because the last time we saw this was in Gadgetzan, right? The Paladin 2-mana 1/1. The Outfitter that buffs all your minions +1/+1. So this is kind of like that, but it's a 4-mana 2/3. I don't see this happening either. I mean, you could argue that maybe this is good in like a Zoo deck or whatever, but in Zoo, by turn 4, you probably have no more hand, right? So I don't even like that. I think this card is just bad. Yeah, I think this is bad. I mean, this card kind of describes me, Arena Fanatic, but in the new expansion, I'm going to be playing much more Constructed. So you guys will actually get hyped about my Constructed plays. Yeah. But for Arena Fanatic, we're going to give this 0 stars for Constructed. Next up, we have Arena Treasure Chest. Oh, it's a 4-mana 0/4. When it dies, draw 2 cards. So if you can somehow kill your own treasure chest, right, then you get the booty, which is draw 2 cards. I don't like this card. It's a 4-mana, draw 2 cards. What? Why am I not playing Arcane Intellect? Why am I not playing any of those new cards that draw cards so well? Like the Warrior draw 2 dragons, the Beast that draw 3 beasts. This is just, you open this, and no, you do not get the treasure inside. The treasure is actually 5 dust, because it's 0 stars. Next up, we have Halftime Scavenger. For 4 mana, you get a 3/5 with Stealth. Ooh, Stealth for 4 mana 3/5, so it's kind of Senjin with Stealth. And if you overkill something, you can gain 3 armor. Holy Jesus, this is bad. This is just not worth it. I mean, sure, you trade a minion and then you get 3 armor. So it's a 4 mana 3/5 that gains 3 armor. That's like the best case. I mean, that's really good. 4 mana 3/5 gains 3 armor. But that happening is going to be so low. I don't like this. 0 stars for constructed. Regenerating Thug. For 4 mana, you get a 3/5. And at the start of your turn, restore 2 health to this minion. So, the plan is to trade this, hope it lives, and then restore 2 health to yourself. But you're playing constructed. What are you doing with your life if you're playing this card? 0 stars. Alright, onwards to Rumble Tusk Shaker. For 4 mana, you get a 3/2 that dies into a 3/2. Rumble Tusk Breaker. So it's different. So it's a 3/2 that dies into a 3/2. No, I don't see this happening. It's like a very slow Harvest Golem. It's very aggressively costed. Aggressively statted, I said. Like, instead of 2/3, that's a 2/1. You get a 3/2, that's a 3/2. I just don't see this happening. There's so many cards that are better than this. I mean, even the 5/1 that dies into 5/1 is better than this, right? So, nah, this is a bad shredder. 0 stars. Ticket Scalper is a 4 mana 5/3 pirate. Okay, the pirate is interesting. What does it do? Overkill, draw 2 cards. Problem with overkill is that it doesn't work on the face. Okay, if you overkill the face, your opponent's dead. So it doesn't actually matter. So what you're saying is Ticket Scalper, you need to kind of trade with this. I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, the fact that it has 3 health is also a big problem. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this pirate. Pirates need to be cheap, they need to be quick, and they need to be dirty. Okay, this is not dirty at all. It's a 5/3. So not a big fan of this. I'm gonna give this 0 stars. Next up, we have a dragon, Dragonmore Scorcher. For 5 mana, you get a 3/6 dragon with Battlecry, deal 1 damage to all other minions. Now this is a dragon I can get behind. 5 mana 3/6 with the Dread Infernal effect is really, really good. Like that's a very solid minion. We saw Ravaging Ghoul. Ravaging Ghoul was a 3 mana 3/3 that did the same thing. And it was so good, right? I mean, it was actually insane because it was 3 mana 3/3. It came super down early, super fast. This is a dragon though, and we know that dragon decks are being supported, especially in Warrior. So I can see this being a good card in Constructed. Oh my god, this card is insane in Arena, but this is a good card in Constructed. So I would actually say this is good. So I will give this 3 stars. It's a very decent. Former Champ, it's a 5 mana 1/1 that summons a hotshot. Summon a 5/5 hotshot. Very similar to the 6 mana 1/1 that summons a 6/6 back in Gensan. So whatever, Arena card, unplayable and constructed, 0 stars. Moving on. Sightless Ranger is a 5 mana 3/4 with Rush, and when you overkill with her, because she has Rush, you can attack immediately. You summon 2 bats. So in a sense, deal 2 damage to a minion, summon 2 1/1s. I just can't see this happening. Like, once again, you do require your opponent's board to be good. Like these Rush minions that also overkill, or like the overkill minions that summon dudes or whatever, like they need to be so specific. So I'm not a big fan of this. I'm just gonna give this. Is this 0 stars? I think this is 0 stars. Yeah, I'm gonna give this 0. This is bad. Amani Warbear is a 7 mana 5/7 beast with Rush and Taunt. So it's kind of like a Ball Creeper. Ball Creeper is a 6/8, right? So instead of it gets -1/-1, but it has Rush instead. This is not entirely bad in Beast Druid, right? You can actually do some cute stuff with this. It's not entirely bad, but the rate is still not quite there. So it's a 1-star card. It's playable, but it's not quite there. Rabble Bouncer is a 7 mana 2/7 taunt that costs 1 less for each enemy minion. So once again, cards that could cost 0 could be pretty insane, but it's a 2/7, so it's I don't really see this happening. You have to be in a meta with like Token Druid, Zoolock, and Swarm Shaman for this to be good. But like this can be just so unplayable. Holy jeez, I hate this card. Okay, 0 stars. I don't like this. This is like I don't usually do this to cards that could cost 0, but I just don't see this happening. Mahjong Enforcer is an 8 mana 2/14 taunt Divine Shield. Stampeding Kodo. You know, Stampeding Kodo is a card that people might even play in the new expansion because of all these spirits that are 0/3s. Oh my god, like what is this doing, dude? Me dumb, me fat, me taunt, me protect, but me die to Kodo. 0-star card. Alright, onwards to the rares. First of all, we have Belligerent Gnome. 2 mana 1/4, taunt. Battlecry, if your opponent has 2 or more minions, this gains +1 attack. So this comes to 2 mana 2/4 taunt. If your opponent has 2 or more minions. This is actually pretty decent. It's kind of, it reminds me of the Rimrest Agent from the Dragon expansion for Priest. It's kind of like that, but it's neutral. You can play in any deck. And it's a 2 mana 2/4 with, you know, taunt. That's actually pretty decent, you know? I think it's fine. It's a 3-star card. And of course, it has a hidden ability. It makes Silverback Patriarch cry in a corner even more. Next up is Fire Tree Witch Doctor. Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, discover a spell. That's kind of interesting for, you know, just dragon decks. 2 mana 2 to draw a card is very, very decent. Discovers, yeah, it's actually decent, right? We see people play Arcanologist all the time. We see people play Ethereal Conjurer all the time. So I feel like that dragon decks are just gonna want to play this for early drop and get more value into the late game. So I think this is very playable. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Very good in dragon decks. Serpent Ward is a neutral totem. Weird. Neutral totem? 2 mana 0/2. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So this goes face. But this doesn't hit back. It's 0/2. What a weird ass card. Now, the good part about this card is that it's just at the end of your turn. So it basically procs immediately afterwards, right? So it's kind of like a 2/1 charge. And if your opponent doesn't kill it, it just keeps on dealing 2 damage. I think this is a very good face card. I think this is reasonable. Yeah, if you think about it at the end of your turn, yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Sometimes you just need to go face. Shieldbreaker is a 2 mana 2/1 minion with Battlecry. Silence an enemy minion with taunt. Oh my god. Your face is exposed. I think this card is pretty good. I think, once again, face decks would run this because, you know, silence an enemy minion with taunt, dude. If you have like a freaking taunt Divine Shield or like a taunt Lifesteal or whatever, just get me out of the face. If you're playing Witchwood Grizzly against me and my Hunter, silence that ass and go face, you know? Shieldbreaker might actually be really good. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I think this is actually very reasonable. It's a good little, actually, no, I'm gonna give this 3 stars. 3 stars. If you're playing against someone who doesn't have taunts, then it's a 2/1, which is like, yeah, or not the best. But I think this is good. I'll give it 3 stars. 3 stars is good. Soup Vendor. Not funnel kicks anymore, but it's soup time. 2 mana 1/4. Whenever you restore 3 or more health to your hero, draw a card. No. Hell no. Dude, what am I doing with my soup, man? 2 mana 1/4. It's not a bad stat line, but you need to restore 3 health for it to replace itself? I am not down for soup, man. No soup, thank you. 0 stars. What about water, though? 2 mana 2/1 Water Boy. Battlecry. Your next hero power this turn costs 0. Now, this is actually interesting. The fact that we saw so many cards that deal face damage makes it so that this might be playable in Hunter. Because it's a 2 mana 2/1 that deals 2 damage to face. Right? Like, that's kind of interesting. What if you play this in stuff like, you know, odd Hunter or even Hunter or whatever, right? Oh, wait, sorry, you can't play an odd Hunter at all. Even Hunter. You know? This can actually get you some more mana and stuff, you know? It's kind of cool. So I think this is reasonable. And for other classes, you really need to have like an abusive even power. But you can't. Even it just reduces your hero power by 1, right? So, I don't know. I feel like Water Boy has potential, so I'll give it 2 stars. But you really have to have a hero power that's like ridiculous, like the Hunter hero power, for example. Next up, we have the Booty Bay Buki. For 2 mana, you get a 3/3. Okay, so that is way above the curve. But you give your opponent a coin. That is unplayable. Okay, this is actually stone cold unplayable. Giving your opponent a coin means that you can actually wrap them up to something that they're not supposed to play early on. So, say they can't deal with 2 mana 3/3, but now they have a coin, they can true silver it down. So, no, this is stone cold unplayable. Very, very bad. Giving your opponent mana is never good. Arcane Golem is like, bleh, you know? So, just 0 stars. Murloc Tasty Fin is a 4 mana 3/2 Murloc with Death Rattle. Draw 2 Murlocs from your deck. Obviously, you want to play a Murloc deck with this, and 4-mana draw 2 is really good for a 3/2 minion, right? So if Murlocs ever come back and they're more value-oriented instead of just go face, then this could be okay. I only really see this with like Shaman, right? The Shaman Unite the Murlocs is like the only deck I can see this in, and even then it's not like insane. So I'm just gonna give this 1 star. I don't think it's that good. Arena Patron. For 5 mana, you get a 3/3. If you overkill something, you summon another Arena Patron. Don't let the Patron fool you. This Patron is bad. You need to trade with something, and you need to deal more than 3 damage. Like you need to overkill it, right? So you need to either deal 2 or 1 damage again. This is just terrible, Patron. It's a callback, but this one is stone cold unplayable. 0 stars. Everyone is not getting in here this time. Next up, we have Gurubashi Offering. For 1 mana, you have a 0/2. Alright? And at the start of a turn, destroy this and gain 8 armor. What a weird little card this is. Alright, like, okay. It has 1 mana, it's a 1 mana 0/2. And if your opponent can kill it, nothing happens. If your opponent doesn't kill it, it kills itself and you get 8 armor. So how crazy do you want to go to get 8 armor? I don't think you want to go that crazy. This seems kind of bad. Like, you need to actually protect this somehow with taunts or stealth it or something. But even then, are you actually breaking the game with 1 mana gain 8 armor? I don't think so. 0 stars. This is bad. Ducati Twixter. Ooh, tricky. 3 mana 3/4. Battlecry. Give each player a copy of a random card from their opponent's deck. So I take one of your cards and you take one of my cards. Sharing is caring. Reminds me a lot on A Stranger Will Offer You Aid. Like, you know, the card that gives each player 2-drop. I think this is relegated to Arena. You can't depend on your opponent's cards to kind of get you there. This is interesting in Priest because there is the Priest Talanji that summons all minions that weren't in your deck before. And Priest doesn't really mind extra card draw anyways. So I think that's the only deck that can make this with. But otherwise, I'm just going to give this 1 star. I think this is kind of like, Arena card. Untamed Beastmaster, another 3 mana 3/4. Whenever you draw a beast, you give it +2/+2. Oh my god, I hate this card. Okay, we actually talked about this card when it got reviewed of why I hate it. Because if you put this in a beast deck and you play it with Hunter's Call or something like that, then this is not a beast itself, right? It actually breaks the combo. And also it's whenever you draw a beast, right? So it has to kind of stick around and stuff. I don't really like this. This card is kind of like bad in a sense. You have to kind of abuse it with like the quest or something. Like if you can abuse it with the quest, then it can get pretty interesting. But then it's like a combo piece. So I'm not a big fan of this. I'm gonna give this 2 stars. A very situational. Masked Contender is a 3 mana 2/4 with if you control a secret, play a secret from your deck. So it's kind of like a weird mysterious challenger that only works on 1 secret, and you do need a secret. I think this is fine. I think a 3 mana 2/4 that draws a card and plays it for you is pretty worth it for 3 mana 2/4. Like it's definitely worth it. So I think Masked Contender definitely has a spot. You know, you can play Temple Mage, you can play Aggro Hunter with this. I think this is reasonable. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Ice Cream Peddler for 4 mana. If you have, for 4 mana you get 3/5, and if you control a frozen minion, gain 8 armor. What? How can you control a frozen minion? I don't get this card. This is a 0-star card. Gaining 8 armor is really good for 4 mana. Like, this is super funnel cakes, right? Instead of restore 4 health to each player, you get both of them and you get it in the form of armor. But like, why in the heck can you get a frozen minion on your own board? I don't see this happening. Moshog Announcer. For 5 mana, you get a 6/5, so pretty damn buff. Says enemies attacking this guy have a 50% chance to attack something else. So this basically has like pseudo evasion. So it's kind of like reverse taunt. Instead of you have to attack this, you attack something else. So this kind of goes face. This is kind of interesting actually, because it's very hard to clear this off the board, and you know, it's 50% chance to attack someone else. So you can actually attack your own minions as well. So yeah, this goes face while your opponent doesn't know what to do with this. I think this is actually kind of playable. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. This card is secretly might be secretly really good. Snapjaw Shell Fighter. It's a 5 mana 3/8. Whenever adjacent minion takes damage, this minion takes it instead. So why these cards are bad is because both Ram Shield is just Monka S, right? Both Ram Shield was if your hero takes damage, both takes it instead, right? both is obviously really bad because your hero doesn't retaliate, right? Your hero has 0 attack. Snapjaw is a little bit better than that because first of all, it costs cheaper, right? Secondly, your minions always will have some sort of attack. So at least that's something. But you really need to kind of like protect something for it to be good. Like something very valuable. Even then it's not even that good. So I'm gonna go ahead. It's great with poisonous. No. So chat is saying it's good with poisonous. It's not good with poisonous. Okay? Why is it not good with poisonous? You're basically not hurting a snail and that's it. So bloody what? You know? Why don't you just buff your snail? I hate it. This card is bad. 0 stars. Next up we have Line Cracker. It's a weird looking goblin. That is the weirdest looking goblin I've ever seen. He's buff, but look at his waist. Like, wow, this guy's proportions is all messed up, man. 7 mana, 5/10. It says when you overkill something, you double this minion's attack. So you have to trade with this for it to be good. But then the first kill, it becomes 10 attack. The next kill, it becomes 20 attack, and so on. So that could be interesting. In Arena, that is. In Constructed, what? No, this is just bad in Constructed. 0 stars. Crowd Roaster is a 7 mana 7/4 dragon. If you're holding a dragon, deals 7 damage to an enemy minion. So it's a 7/4 that basically kills something. This is like a Fireline's Portal that kills something. Or this is like a Blaze Caller. It's definitely worse than those because you can't go face with them, right? You can face a Fireline's Portal, you can face a Blaze Caller. You cannot face with Crowd Roaster, so that's the problem. But it does kill something immediately, so that's reasonable. So I think Crowd Roaster is fine. I wouldn't say this is insane because it can't go face. But yeah, this can just 2-for-1 something. So I think it's okay. I think this is 3 stars. The fact that it can't go face is a problem, I think. Alright, almost to the final legendaries, the neutral legendaries is set. First of all, we have Grifta. For 4 mana, you get a 4/5, so you get a Yeti. Battlecry. Discover 2 neutral cards. It doesn't say here, but it is. Give 1 to your opponent at random. That is just the weirdest thing ever. That doesn't even make sense. Like, I can't see why you want to do this effect. Right? The only thing I can see is you can discover 2 pirates and then give your opponent a pirate. Right? And because you're playing pirate rogue, it's okay. And if they're playing control priest, they don't care about a pirate. But that's the best case situation. I don't see this being good. I think this guy is just a troll. 0 stars. Next up, we have Mojo Master Zihi. For 6 mana, you get a 5/5. Battlecry. Set each player's mana to 5. This has a lot of potential to be very good, right? If your opponent is ramping, you just actually de-ramp them, right? And if you're playing an aggro deck, you can actually force them to go back to 5 so they can't cast their expensive cards. So this could be actually kind of interesting. It's treated kind of like a Lothep, right? Lothep makes it so the opponent can't cast spells. You pay 1 more mana for this, and your opponent actually can't cast anything that's super expensive. So I think Mojo Master would see a little bit of play in the form of aggro decks, and also kind of like anti-combo decks. I think this has a lot of potential. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. This guy is an 8 mana 8/5 with Battlecry. Gain the Death Rattle effects of 3 friendly minions that died this game. So if you play a lot of Death Rattle cards, then this gains all the Death Rattles. That's actually pretty ridiculous. This card is actually kind of good, right? You play Spiker Steed, that has a Death Rattle. You play stuff like, I don't know, 5/1s that spawn to 5/1s. This is not bad. This is reasonable. What happens if you play Voidlord with this? There are some really good Death Rattle minions in the game. So I think the is actually very good. I'm gonna give this 5 stars. Oh yeah, Cube has a thing. Dude, imagine if there's Cube. Wait, does Cube work? No, Cube doesn't work. Because you can't eat a minion. Okay, it doesn't work on Cube, but you get what I mean. And 2 more cards. Undasta! Oh my god, what are these words, man? 9 mana 7/7 Beast of Rush. It's a neutral, you can put it anywhere. Overkill, summon a beast from your hand. Now this is an interesting card for Hunter and Druid. You can actually play this, get a beast out, you can cheat 1 for free, and it just keeps on going. So I think Undasta is actually pretty good. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Works on 2 decks. And the final card, who can get a true expansion of a Hakar, the Soul Flayer, is a 10 mana 9/6. So opposite of 6/9. Kind of weird. 9/6. Death Rattle. Shuffle a Corrupted Blood into each player's deck. So what does that mean? So when he dies, each player gets Corrupted Blood. It's a 1-mana spell that casts when drawn. So you basically cast it. It doesn't matter. And cast when drawn means that you draw another card. What does it do? Well, you take 3 damage. And then after you draw, you shuffle 2 more copies of this into your deck. So it's basically aids. You're basically giving both player aids. And they're basically slowly dying. Because they're gonna actually be corrupted. I just don't know why this actually is shuffled to both players. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you shuffle it just to your opponents, right? But you get it too. So I don't really see how this card is gonna work out. There has to be some really weird meta where your opponent's drawing a lot of cards and then you want to Corrupted Blood them. But then this only works when it dies. I just don't see this happening, man. I really don't see this happening. This is a 0. This is just 0 stars for me. You don't even stop fatigue. So, nah, I can't see this being good. Alright, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching the Constructed Compendium from Amaz. Good luck in your Rastakhan adventures when it comes out. Of course, you should watch my stream when the expansion comes out. We'll be playing a lot of Constructed. And I also scheduled a lot of show matches for you guys. So we'll be playing against, you know, your favorite streamers from all over Twitch. And we're going to upload all those gameplays on YouTube. And it's going to be great. You guys can also guess how many streamers I'm going to beat. Okay? I'm going to put myself on, like, probably all but one. Yeah. I'm confident in my skills. You know? All but one. Anyways, thanks for watching this YouTube video. I'll see you guys in the arena.